Radyo-katipunan. 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 The voice of the Blue Eagle, kami di mapipigil sa pagbabalitang tumpak at tama. Buhay Atenista, sa loob sa labas ng eskwela, ating ibibida lahat ng pera. Radyo-katipunan. Kawal ni Ignacio, katipunero sugo, todo sa kayod, punong at tulong. Lipad na Blue Eagle, galing giting at tigil, blue and white, one big fight. Radyo-katipunan. Radyo-katipunan.
Life in all caps. Ito po si Lino sumusuporta sa ating minamahal na multi-awarded, multimedia guru Noel Ferrer sa kanyang pagle-level up. Kaya Ateneo, level up! Level up!
Happy victorious 3rd anniversary Radyo Katipunan, and congratulations to my very good friend Noel Ferrer of Level Up for all awards you have been receiving. It's such a great honor and privilege na mag-guest po sa inyong show last year. It was so much fun doing that interview, considering that I was still grieving the loss of my mom and my beloved sister. It's really nice to talk to my good friend, kapatid na Noel. It's always a pleasure. Please take care of yourself and stay safe and healthy. Sa kahit na ano pong gagawin natin, kailangan po tayong mag-level up. Again, thank you very much. Thank you for your service, and God bless you more and more.
Happy 3rd anniversary sa Radyo Katipunan, at syempre, congratulations din kay Sir Noel ng Level Up. Thank you for always sharing the message of hope during these uncertain times, and I pray that you will always be a source of inspiration for your community. Once again, congratulations and happy 3rd anniversary.
Voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Hello! Ako po si Joey De Leon at ako po ay bumabati sa Radyo Katipunan sa kanilang anibersaryo. Kung nabubuhay lang si Bonifacio, tiyak sasabihin niya, "So good, mga kapatid! So good!" Lalo na ang palatuntunan ni Noel na level up. In English, level up. In Tagalog, kataas-taasang Radyo Katipunan. Congratulations! Tandaan nyo, ang Radyo Katipunan, lalo na ang level up ni Noel. So good, mga kapatid.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Sa Radyo Katipunan, happy 3rd anniversary po sa inyo. Thank you for connecting us with one another during these difficult times. At pati kay Sir Noel ng Level Up, congratulations din po sa inyo. Thank you for bringing to us stories of inspiration and stories of excellence. Ako po si Vico Soto na nagsasabing basta't sama-sama tayo, patuloy na umaagos ang pag-asa at patuloy tayong mag-level up.
The voice of the Blue Eagle, Radyo Katipunan 87.9.
Congratulations for the 3rd year anniversary of Level Up, and congratulations, Noel, for all the awards and recognition you've been receiving for you and your program. And siyempre, I'd like to thank you and to congratulate you for having the virtue of always speaking the truth and always standing for what is right and what is good. So again, congratulations at sana matagal na matagal pang yung programa at ang iyong kontribusyon sa ating industriya. Again, congratulations!
Hi Noel, my friend. Congratulations on the success of your online show, Level Up. 3 years old na and it continues to reap awards. So friend, continue to serve our people, our industry, and our country. And bilang kaibigan, kung may maitutulong ako, friend, I will always be here, okay? Just a text away. So please keep up the excellent work. Pareho tayo ng advokasya pagdating sa bakuna. Meron lamang kung gustong ibigay na mensahe para sa ating mga kababayan. Okay? Mga kababayan, magpabakuna na po tayong lahat. Ang vaccine po ay para po sa ating kaligtasan at hindi po ito dapat katakutan. Ililigtas po tayo nito sa pandemyang COVID-19. Kaya huwag na po tayong mag-atubili na magpabakuna. Do it for yourself, for your family, for your community, and for our country. Kaya magparehistro na po kayo at siguraduhin po na magpabakuna. Malalagpasan din po natin ang pagsubok na ito. This is Congresswoman Ate V, and may God bless us all. Salamat po.
What we're seeing now on our screen is the paying of respects of people dun po sa Church of Yesu. At nandito po ang ating pinakamamahal na Ateneo alumnus na si dating Presidente Benigno Aquino. No? Today, Friday, June 25, 2021, former President Benigno Aquino III, who studied in Ateneo, grade school 73, high school 77, AB Economics 81, is coming home to Ateneo de Manila for one last time. His cremated remains are in the Yesu Church of the Yesu, where the public has the opportunity to pay their final respects. As announced by the Aquino family, there is a public viewing going on with the urn bearing former President Aquino's cremated remains at the Loyola Heights campus in Katipunan. And then we just had earlier this morning a private arrival ceremony, and the public is expected to pay their respects from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m. Members of the public will be allowed to walk in front of the urn to pay respects and say a prayer for Pinoy for a few seconds. Meanwhile, family and close friends will be allowed to stay in a sectioned off seating area, which can accommodate up to a maximum of 140 people at any given time. Ateneo and the Aquino family ask that visitors cooperate with the campus personnel to ensure that the public viewing is safe, secure, and respectful. Health and safety protocols will strictly be implemented in adherence to the government regulations for COVID-19. Visitors' temperatures will be checked, and they'll be required to fill out contact tracing forms prior entering the Yesu. Everyone will be required to wear face masks and face shields at all times. Outside the Aquino and Coanco families, children will not be allowed to enter the campus. All visitors, pedestrian and vehicular, will enter via Gate 3. Again, Gate 3 for all the visitors, pedestrian and vehicular visitors along Katipunan Road, the gate opposite KFC and Refugee Center. Marshals will guide the public where to proceed, as well as to ensure order and continuous flow of the line. Members of the public who will pay their respect should be prepared for possible long lines upon entry due to the strict security and health measures. It's being implemented in the campus now. We encourage members of the public to bring as few personal items as possible. People will be may be denied entry if they attempt to bring any item that may be deemed a security or health risk. They should also be prepared for any forecasted weather conditions. So the public is there now. They'll be allowed in until 10 o'clock in the evening. Those who cannot physically go to the Church of Yesu will also have several opportunities to pay their final respects. There will be 3 masses, which will be streamed live 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. on this Friday, June 25, and 10 a.m. tomorrow, June 26. The links will be posted at the Ateneo de Manila University's official social media channels and on Radyo Katipunan's 87.9 FM. So Ateneo de Manila University joins the Filipino nation in honoring the 15th president, and we pray for the eternal rest of his soul. We saw Vice President Leni Robredo there already, and I think she's staying there until later. And inaanyayahan din naman ng grupo nila na lahat ay makiisa sa isang prayer candlelight vigil para kay Pinoy ngayong Biyernes, 4 o'clock sa Ateneo Gate 2.5 sa Ateneo de Manila University sa Quezon City. Magdala raw ng kandila at black ribbons at obserbahin natin ang minimum health protocols. We're on with our Level Up program in a while. Our guests are Taguig Mayor Lino Cayetano and San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Magandang hapon po sa inyong lahat. It's an eventful day in Ateneo now. We're paying respects to our 15th president. It's a coming home of sorts because he's from Ateneo, grade school 73, high school 77, economics 81. So maganda lang na pag binabalikan natin, our president stood for good governance. So all the best, all ready, all good, and we have these good people. No? Level up tayong lahat. And when we talk about good governance, which Pinoy stood for, this pandemic revealed that what we lack somehow in national leadership is somehow compensated by the very efficient, systematic, and principled governance by the LGUs. And we have 2 of them here now. Well, because of this, Level Up will take another closer look at the best practices of the local governments, and we shall learn from another batch of local leaders. We had, Mayor Joy Belmonte of Quezon City before, Mayor Marcy Teodoro of Marikina, and Mayor Len Oreta of Malabon. And so, I think I have my guests here this afternoon, and I'm so excited to have them because as we talk about good governance, we have them here, and we continue that legacy of good governance that President Pinoy started. So, ang ganda lang. First up, unahin ko na lang, Alasa Light. With family members in Ateneo, I told him I have a batchmate, his sister, who was a pol-sci major and a lawyer. Hindi lang pang sports, kundi pang politika rin. Nandito po si San Juan City Mayor Francis Zamora. Good afternoon, sir. Hello, sir. Naka-off pa yung camera na. So we'll just introduce him again later when he turns on his camera. Next, I know of him as a director, an artist, and a person in academia. During our younger years, I would visit him at the UP College of Mass Communication, where he used to teach because he was drawn to members of our talent family, whom he loved dearly, and we loved him dearly. Now he uses his creativity, his discipline in academia, in public service, which runs in his family. Taguig Mayor Lino Cayetano, good afternoon. Mayor, I'm not used to calling you Mayor, pero...
Call me Lino.
Yeah, he's my first friend. I was his first friend in ABS-CBN. He transferred from another station. But good afternoon. Where are you now, Lino?
Hi, Noel, my friend. I'm here in a beautiful Taguig Lakeshore. So a lot of people know Taguig for BGC being the central business district of NCR, pero we're proud of being a multifaceted city, no? Yung sustainability namin as a city is anchored in what you see behind me, no? The beautiful Laguna Bay.
Yes, and thank you for like attending to the members of our industry, because a lot of the people in our industry depended on the Taguig vaccines for help. No, so thank you for laying that foundation also, Lino. So, kumusta kayo dyan? Well, there are a lot of things happening in the country. I know. Yesterday you played host to our foreign guests, and then we had to learn from them. But I think you're trailblazing yourself. So, kumusta ang mayor?
Okay. Our friends from Israel, no, the expert panel was here yesterday. I think we were one of 2 government-run vaccination. Ang sabi nila ay professionalism of the vaccination site and how our healthcare workers conducted themselves is what impressed them the most. Isa sa mga sinabi rin nila is if all our vaccination centers were run this way in the city and in the country, then they don't see any problem. No, ang sagot ko naman doon when they told us that, Noel, is frankly that yung puri nila sa pagiging professionalismo, it actually belongs to our healthcare workers.
That's true.
A lot of people don't realize that we have the best health workers in the world.
True.
Whether it's the UK, it's the US, around the world, it is the Filipino people who is making this work. So I think just harnessing yung potential ng magagaling nating healthcare workers, and we're on the road to recovery.
I know, and we just have to like value them and give them all the support, di ba, Lino? So, kumusta, what's your data like in the vaccine rollout? I think yun nga kayong dalawa ni Mayor Francis yung parang malapit na or mabilis, no, na tumugon dun sa vaccination rollout.
Yeah, yung numbers namin, Noel, so ang target namin sa Taguig is 680,000 Taguigeños. So we're the 4th largest city in Metro Manila. It's Quezon City, Manila, Caloocan, then it's Taguig. 680,000. Ang nabakunahan na ho namin ang first dose, 220,000 individuals.
Very good.
So 1 in 3 Taguigeños who we target to be vaccinated is already vaccinated.
Okay.
We're nowhere near the success of San Juan. I commend really my good friend who I'm often in touch with, and we ask advice from each other. But we're on the road for a mid-November or a late October target 70%. For Taguig. I think San Juan will do it much earlier, but siguro si Mayor Francis na magkukwento na.
Ang galing lang, di ba? Parang tulungan at yun, parang kung ano yung mga best practices, pwede tayong matuto sa bawat isa. Well, let me introduce him again, no? So, Alasalite, na yun nga yung joke namin, pero now it's coexistence and then talagang tulungan, no? So, with family members in Ateneo, di ba, Mayor? I told them I have a batchmate, a sister, a pol-sci major, and a lawyer. So sabi nga, hindi lang pang sports, kundi pang politika pa. Yun, actually, si Lino, ganun din. Actually, you share those passions, no? Sports, business, at politika. Mamaya pag-usapan natin yan. San Juan Mayor Francis Zamora. Hello, good afternoon, Mayor.
Yes, good afternoon, Noel. At maraming salamat sa pag-iimpin sa akin sa Radyo Katipunan, sa lahat ng mga Atenista na nakikinig ngayon. Magandang araw sa inyo lahat.
Isang komunidad lang kita. Nung kalaman ni Mayor Lino Cayetano na kayo yung kasama, kasi may first batch ng mga mayor. So sabi niya, mahal daw niya kayo. At pa yun nga, ang ganda ng samahan ninyo. At yun nga, parang pareho yung interes. Sports, si Lino nagsa-sports din. Nagsa-showbiz. Yung anak mo papunta show business. So yun yan, politika. At nasasama-sama niyo lahat yan para sa isang epektibong paninilbihan sa San Juan. Kumusta po yung vaccine rollout nyo? Kasi kayo single out na kayo yung mauunang matatapos, yung parang finish line.
Well, before I answer that question, good afternoon to my dear friend and of course colleague na Metro Manila Mayor, si paring Lino Cayetano. So, hindi lamang kami magkaibigan, hindi lamang magkasama sa Metro Manila Council bilang mayor, ngunit magkumpare kami. Sapagkat ang aming mga anak ay inaanak namin. So,
Galing naman.
and my father is also Mayor Lino's ninong. So talagang
Wow.
our families go way back. And my sister is now a city councilor in Taguig City.
Oh,
So,
small world.
kumbaga talagang tight ang bond namin ni
Okay.
Mayor Lino. And likewise, nung nalaman ko nga na si Mayor Lino ang makakasama ko, yan, of course, I was very much excited about it. In fact, I sent him all the artworks, no? Yung art cards mo, pinadala kanina, Noel, pinadala ko kay Mayor Lino kanina. Sabi ko, brother, I'll see you this afternoon for our guesting sa Radyo Katipunan.
Ang ganda lang kasi sa COVID response, people look up to yun nga, Taguig and San Juan as parang model units or model cities. Mauna ka na Mayor Francis, no? Can you tell us your best practices and what people can learn from San Juan? And then we can interject, Lino, na sabihin mo, yan kasi yan yung pwedeng gayahin sa sa city na yan.
Okay, una sa lahat, no, I will just share our most recent data. So as of yesterday, I'll just read through my phone.
Kaya lang, ang masakit sa inyo, di ba, ang sinasabi sa inyo nang galing. Sa inyo sa San Juan nang galing. Pero kayo yung unang gumawa ng solusyon, na mabilis na solusyon.
Yes, so ito, no, we have vaccinated 71.9% of our target population. So that is 61,415 out of 85,400. So we derived 85,400 from our 122,000 population. So we are now just down to 28% to go to reach the 70% for herd immunity. At tama, Noel, no, yung binanggit mo nga kanina na yes, back in March 6, 2020, San Juan had the first case of local transmission in the Philippines.
Yes.
Hindi siya taga San Juan, siya isang Pilipino na nakatira sa ibang bayan outside of Metro Manila.
Yeah.
Ngunit madalas pumupunta dito sa Green Hills Shopping Center, specifically sa ating Muslim prayer hall.
Yes.
So I remember back last year, no, the DOH visited me in my office.
Yeah.
And told me that they had classified information. So talagang I was kind of worried. Sabi ko, ano kaya ito? And yun nga, sinabi nga nila na yung unang kaso ay confirmed na madalas pupunta nga dito sa San Juan. So immediately that same day, we went there with the DOH officials and we disinfected the prayer hall. In fact, we had to close it down. Eventually, next, we closed down the mall itself.
Yes.
Because talagang nakita nga natin na based on initial contact tracing, itong patient na ito nagsicirculate within the mall. He eventually got confined at the Cardinal Santos Medical Center and after a few days passed away. So, ang Cardinal Santos Medical Center din sa San Juan, ng unang ospital na nagkaroon ka rin ng kaso ng local transmission. So, significantly, dito nga talaga sa San Juan ang simula. Kaya ang battle cry namin, bagamat dito sa San Juan unang nagsimula, dito rin natin unang tatapusin.
Unang matatapos. Galing naman.
That's why we are really pushing na matapos na nga ito. And I'm sure Mayor Lino would agree, no? After going through yung mga contact tracing, isolation, treatment, lahat yan, kumbaga, pinagdaanan na namang LGUs for a year and 4 months. We are now at the end of the tunnel, which is here na sa vaccination program natin.
Hopefully so. Punta tayo kay Mayor Lino. Sir, i-compare lang natin kasi siya rin naman, grabe rin yung service niya sa buong komunidad. Kung kayo may Cardinal Santos, sa kanya ang St. Luke's, di ba? Parang hindi lang pang Taguig, kung hindi sinaserve din yung iba, kaya he has to look for other sources ng gagamot sa mga kababayan niya. So, Mayor Lino, kumusta yung pagbabalik natin dun sa unang transmission? Tapos, ang hirap, nakakabigla, pero yung epekto sa trabaho, sa industriya, yung medyo dun ka talaga tinamaan.
Ironically, Noel, kami ni Francis yung nandito, we were together the night before. Sabay kami, yung unang kaso namin sabay. We were together the night before. We were having dinner with Phil, my wife, who's an Atenista.
Yes.
We were having dinner with Francis and Kerry. We were talking about COVID, We were talking about the COVID situation in Southeast Asia. We were talking about our, at that time, we were only monitoring one or two cases na foreign national na pumasok.
Mhm.
Next day when we woke up, it was case number 4 in the Philippines, case number 1 in Taguig. And it was case number 3, I think, in the Philippines, case number 1 in San Juan. Sabay kami. And I remember it was a Saturday or a Sunday kasi walang pasok noon. And like him, no, I was in City Hall. We did contact tracing. And our lives, no, as we know, it changed. Do you remember that, pare, di ba? Sa'yo yung nasa prayer hall. Ako naman, it was a building across the Philippine Stock Exchange. It was a person who traveled from Japan. Magkasunod yun. I think case number 3 ba kayo, Mayor Francis?
Case number 5.
3 or 4, no? Ours was Philippine. Yeah, so 4
Some
and
is
5
5 and
yun.
6.
4 ang Taguig, 5.
And for people who are so health
we
conscious,
woke up that morning. We were together that night, and we woke up. Things changed forever, no?
grabe. And for people who are so health conscious like both of you, no? Masyadong fit. Yun yung tingin ng mga tao, and you're so concerned about your health and the health of other people. How did you react? And then dapat kumilos ng mabilis. Yun yating maganda sa mga mayors, no? Parang kailangan yung reflexes nyo, yung decision making nyo mabilis.
Mayor Lino?
Yeah, ako, you're absolutely correct, no? Lahat kaming mga mayor insecure sa biceps ni Mayor Francis. And when I was in UP, walang pumapansin sa volleyball team. Siya nasa basketball team, no, ng Lasal na sikat ng time na 'yon. But yes, the next day, like him, he was in the Green Hills Shopping Mall.
Yes.
Kami naman, I dispatched with the help of the Department of Health, our contact tracing team. We made the City Hall our contact center. Tama kayo, no? The cases started with Taguig and San Juan. But I think because of the quick action of our teams, no, not us alone. I saw Mayor Francis. He was meeting with his chief of police. I was meeting with my health officials. I was meeting even with yung head fire marshal. We pooled all resources. Siguro, if there's any advantage with us, I think it's hindi kami insecure humingi ng tulong sa lahat ng tao. So
That's it, no? Yeah.
Help from my chief fireman, no, the Bureau of Fire became our quarantine team.
Very good.
Our chief of police, no, they became part of our enforcement team. We met all our health experts. We listened to all the doctors. We actually text and ask advice from our other mayors, no, our neighbors. Naging napakadali because I think a lot of us listen to the experts. And I think there's really nothing extraordinary about what we've done in our cities, except really allow for an open discussion of the best ways we can combat this virus and get out of this situation we're in.
I know you. That's very Lino, no, consultative and all, and you listen to everyone. So you didn't have to like scare your people and say, "Oh, kailangan yung gawin kasi papakulong ko kayo." You didn't have to do that.
No. In fact, ang nangyari sa amin, a lot of our citizens were the ones who immediately engaged us. No? Sila yung nagsusumbong.
Very good.
But also, each community is unique. So part nun is, kinausap ko yung mga barangay captain. No? Nagalit ako kasi merong barangay captain na pinilit isara. No? Early on, pinilit niyang isara lahat ng mga tindahan. But remember, we didn't lock down till a few weeks later.
Not yet, yes.
But then, nung reaction ko is, bakit mo sinasara? Hindi pa naman pinapasara ng gobyerno. But then I realized, each situation, each community is unique. Sa lugar niya, the people supported na magsara yung kalye nila, yung sitio nila, yung mga main thoroughfares nila. So I realized that you have to treat each situation differently, and you really have to talk to the local leaders and the private sector differently. So nung nag-announce ang IATF na isara ang malls,
nauna
ng
na
SM,
kayo.
ang Vista, ang Ayala, ang Mega World. Nag-agree na kami na isara. Nung bubuksan na siya nung Monday, hindi kami lahat nagbukas sa Taguig kasi nag-usap na kami lahat ng mga malls. We opened 3 days after kasi we wanted to see the situation in the other cities. All that was done with the help of the private sector. No? Takutan, we listen to each other. And I think that's part of the success we've had here.
Ang galing lang nun kasi parang iba kasi yung theory, no? At saka iba yung reality on ground. And that's your advantage, no? Sa inyong dalawa. Mayor Francis, ganun din yung sa inyo, no? Parang you listen to the people on ground. Kasi maraming sinasabi, ito yung rules. Pero iba dun sa nangyayari sa mismong kinaroroonan ng mga mamamayan. What was the thing in San Juan, Mayor Francis?
Noel and Mayor Lino, no, I just want to inform everyone that prior to March 6, nung pagputok nga ng COVID dito sa San Juan, 4 days before that, we had a hostage-taking crisis.
Oo nga, yes.
Here in Green Hills. No? So sa exact same location, kung nasaan kami 4 days ago, where an armed security guard took hostage 55 people. Doon din, exactly 4 days ago kami bumalik. So isipin mo, back-to-back challenges.
But you were so cool there. Parang kang action star. na nag-solve nung sitwasyon na yun. Na media din naman yun. Pero hindi kailangan talaga ng takot, di ba? Ako, it was talking to them really well.
Correct. Yes, and well, going back to that hostage-taking crisis, no, all I did really was to assure the hostage taker that he would come out safely. No? Kasi ang takot niya, papatayin siya, kumaga very agitated na siya. So I as mayor assured him of his safety. And you know, that saved 55 lives. Now after 4 days, yan na, nagsimula na ngayong COVID, pumunta kami mismo sa prayer hall. In fact, the DOH team was with us and we disinfected the entire prayer hall, and I spoke to the mall management. Sabi ko, we really have to close down the Green Hills Shopping Center sapagkat hindi natin alam sino pa ba ang mga na-come in contact nitong patient na ito. No?
But you knew that closing it down will hurt you economically, no?
That's true. Kaya lang, kung di naman namin gawin,
mas malaki yung
how will we be able to find out sino ba yung mga nakasama niya? So, ang maganda sa mall, no, in fairness to Green Hills, hindi nila inisip yung economic impact. Talagang naintindihan nila na, yes, Mayor, we support you because we know that this is a public health emergency. And that's something that I think the Green Hills Shopping Center for, because beyond revenues, they really prioritize yung health and safety ng bawat isa. So, noong time nga na yun, talagang nangangapa pa ang lahat dito sa COVID. There was really very little information available. Hindi natin alam kung ano yung tama, hindi, di ba? Siguro sa batch namin ng mga mayors nga nito, itong 2019 to 2022 batch, maganda yung samahan namin, and Mayor Lino would attest to that, no? Walang inggitan, walang sapawan. In fact, if a city does something good,
that's true.
Pwede namang gayahin ng ibang city, di ba? Hindi yung parang, ba't mo ako ginaya? Walang ganun eh.
That's
I
true.
guess it's also because a lot of us are quite young, no? Medyo millennial mayors itong batch namin. So, iba yung mindset, no? Hindi traditional ang way of thinking namin. So anything that I can share to Lino or anything that Lino can share to me or to other mayors, open-minded kami. Meron kaming Viber group, meron kaming weekly Metro Manila Council meeting kung saan nagtatanungan kami, nagtutulungan. No? So malaking bagay din.
Let me ask you, Mayor, what was the thing about the Taguig that you emulated or you wanted to copy or parang maganda na ginawa na effort?
Yung aggressiveness ni Mayor Lino. Siyempre, sila, malaking business
district. Short sila, no?
Saka, you're talking about yung BGC, no? Na yung billions ang revenue nila. And again, no, affected yung business center nila, business district. But again, you have to really strike a balance between the economy and the health and safety for people.
That's true.
And then eventually hindi na siya economy or health and safety, naging economy and health and safety na, di ba? So pwede naman pagsabayin. So ito yung thin line na you have to really strike the balance, and eventually LGUs were able to indeed strike this balance. Kaya naman nakapagbukas na rin tayo ng economy. If you remember nung Pasko, dumaan naman yung Christmas season na hindi nagkaroon ng surge, di ba? Things were really going back to normal then until the surge of March 2020.
The new variant, no, because of the new variant. Can you go to Lino? Lino, what was it about San Juan? Did you parang emulate naman? What practice there? Did you?
siguro, I'll zero in on Francis. No, it's really the decisiveness. I
That's
remember the hostage crisis. I texted
yes.
his sister. Sabi ko, grabe yung kapatid mo. Parang superhero.
Yeah.
Ask Pami, Francis, no? I texted her that, just yung decisiveness mo na this won't end if I don't step in.
That's
And,
true.
I took that with me even here in the pandemic. Parang to bring it back, I can't help but not comment, Noel, no, on what we see on our screen, di ba? Mahal natin lahat ng ating dating Pangulo, no, the
Totoo yan.
15th President of the Republic. Si Pangulong Pinoy, something I take away from him and his leadership is really, hindi naman tayo yung boss eh. We might have access to a lot of information, but really, the most powerful tool we have is to inspire others. And I think yung presence ni Mayor Francis in his city, no? Parang pag may nangyayari sa San Juan, nandun siya nakatayo eh. Sabi ko,
That's true, no?
Ilan ba yung Francis, no? That's something I take away. That's something that also from President Pinoy, no? I entered government in 2010 as a barangay captain when he became president.
Yes.
He was a reluctant leader.
Like you, who really never wanted to get into politics.
Oh, but yung intention niya makatulong, yung puso niya, and yung sinasabi niya lagi na kayo yung boss ko, di ba? Sabi ng iba, corny or cheesy, but yun yung realidad eh. Again, we might have access to a lot of information, but the decisions are ultimately probably ours. But since they affect the general welfare, we always need to listen to others. I think that's really key to yung success. Natin, marami sa atin. I think that's key, no? But anyway, last slide, I just wanted to really send my prayers to the Coangco and the Aquino family, and the city of Taguig really mourns. No, it's a sad day. It's a sad week for our country. It's a great loss to the Filipino people. I was looking forward to the president's voice in the years to come. No, I expected him to be an elder statesman who can, really guide us in the decades to come. No,
and like you, no, calm, composed, at least. Well, Mayor Francis wrote something, and he sent me that you were vice mayor during Pinoy's presidency naman. So it was that kind of leadership na hindi not calling attention to himself. And it's that you have, no? Parang hindi kailangan bida. Yun yung or hindi kailangan pabida. Mayor Francis, how was it like serving under that administration first as vice mayor?
Yes, first of all, allow me to extend my sincerest condolences to the Aquino family, of course, to the Coangco family, and sa lahat ng mga malapit sa dating Pangulo. During his 6 years as president, it was also my 6 years as vice mayor. So talagang nagkasabay yung aming tenure. In fact, there were a couple of Metro Manila Council meetings in Malacanang that I attended because my mayor then was not able to attend. So ako nag-attend noon. So na-experience ko na si President Aquino mismo yung nagpe-preside over important meetings. And during one typhoon here in San Juan, nakita pa nga kami. In fact, I have a photo with him na nakapang typhoon outfit pa ako kasi nakaikot na namin nun sa mga baha, no? And nag-inspect na siya sa San Juan noon. So, yung 6 na taon ko ay nagkasabay dun sa 6 na taon ni President Aquino. So, nakakalungkot.
At yun, no? At yun yung sinabi mo nga ng vice mayor ka, it's not about the title or not about yun nga calling attention to what you're doing. It's the integrity or the silent action, the effectivity of what you're doing. So, it's now that people value that more, di ba? So, ako yung isa pang aspeto dyan, yung consultation na sinasabi nga ni Lino. It's very important to work with the best people, no? During this time of crisis. How did you do that in San Juan, sir?
I'll share ko lang sa inyo, Noel,
Yes.
when I won as mayor, I brought in a lot of good people.
New people, I suppose, yeah.
Mas technocrat ako in terms of appointing department heads. Hindi kasi pwedeng political lang parate, no? Of course, the political aspect will always be part of it because we are political in nature, no? Pero in terms of choosing department heads or key people to lead the departments, pumili ako ng mga may experience, mga nakapag-aral, yan na nagtrabaho na sa government, not necessarily all from San Juan because under the local government code, wala namang sinabing bawal kumuha ng taga-ibang city.
Okay.
So yes, admittedly, I got people who have vast experience, who are well-educated, and who know what to do in their department. So malaking tulong sa akin yan because it allows me to delegate things that I
That's
feel
true.
they can do. Ako kasi I'm OC by nature, no?
Mhm.
Pero pag nararamdaman ko na yung tao kaya kong delegatean, I do, di ba?
Yeah, you empower them to.
Kapag nakikita ko na kaya nilang i-implement the way I want it, then I delegate. So, malaking bagay that you surround yourself with good people
That's
because
true.
they will be the ones to help you. Ngayon yung mga, those naman in terms of, let's say, mga politically tumutulong, of course, they also have their individual roles, di ba? Pero I will never sacrifice yung kaalaman and kahandaan sa trabaho just because of political accommodation. Diba?
Galing.
Kasi maintindihan naman ng mga tao yan because it's all for the good of the city. Diba?
That's true.
Kukuha ako ng department head na experience na dun sa specific field niya na nakapag-aral na. Diba? Sino makikinabang? Siyempre yung city ko rin.
I'll ask Mayor Lino this later, but the private sector ng San Juan, sir, how did they help you in your fight against COVID?
Well, yung Xavier School, no, I would really like to commend the Xavier alumni because
Okay.
are you from Xavier, Noel?
No. It's still a private school, no? No, but we're all one, no worries.
So, yung ating Kalinga Center, it's one of the first partnerships ng isang LGU with the private sector. So, the Kalinga Center is our quarantine facility. It's basically a 4-story public school building which hindi pa namin nabubuksan kasi nga nagkaroon ng COVID. So, we decided to use this as our main quarantine facility and the alumni of Xavier banded together para makabuo ng pondo to run the facility. So nakakatuwa because the different batches of Xavier School all pitched in. So kanya-kanya sila ng tulong. No? Even the doctors, yung mga nagpapatakbo, merong core group ang Xavier doon na tumulong sa amin. So it was over, our city health officer was overseeing the operations at the same time. Yung Xavier School alumni naman ang tumutulong sa logistics and sa funding. And it was very successful and we were able to extract our positive patients and transfer them there because ang intention really is to get the positive patients out of the community and transfer them to quarantine facilities para hindi sila makahawa.
And give them incentives, no? Kunyari parang sila yung magkukusa, hindi sila natatakot na mawawalan sila ng kabuhayan. O di ba? Yung iba kasi ayaw magpa-swab dahil baka mawawalan ng trabaho, di ba? Mga
Noel, nagbigay kami ng 3,000 peso cash incentive sa mga lilipat sa quarantine facilities. Sapagkat minsan, ang nagiging dahilan kung bakit ayaw nila umamin o magpa-quarantine is because paano yung pamilya nila, anong kakainin, anong gagastusin. So gusto namin wala na silang ibang isipan except magpagaling.
Can I get to that, sir? Nung nagkaroon na kasi ng surge, parang people were saying home quarantine was an option. And then parang because parang nadi-decongest yung mga quarantine sites. Did that happen in San Juan?
Home quarantine is an option if your home is big enough.
Yes.
But the reality in other barangays na maliliit yung mga bahay nila, they share the room, they share the kitchen, they share the banyo, di ba? So ang tendency talaga, lahat ng membro ng pamilya positive. At yan nakita namin, 10, 12, 14, 16 members, all positive. Just because of one family member. Yan ang reality dyan. So, ang ginawa namin nung surge, we opened our container vans. So, through the help of DPWH, nagbukas kami ng mga air-conditioned container vans which served as additional quarantine facilities for us. And nakatulong talaga siya sa pag-decongest niya. Also, nagtatriaging na rin kami. Noong una kasi, ang mindset din was, dalhin agad sa ospital. Remember? Parang, basta may COVID, hospital agad. And then you realize in the end, no, as the months went by, na
Hindi
pwede
naman.
mo piliin kung sino lang yung dapat mag-hospital, sino yung pang-quarantine facility, sino yung pwede sa bahay. Diba?
Well, it happened to me, no? Well, I had to like coordinate with Joy Belmonte. I got it. I tested positive, but then yun nga parang it was almost none, parang asymptomatic because yun nga I was saved by the vaccines. So yun yung pitch namin dun sa vaccination. But otherwise yun bang pagpunta mo ng site ng isolation site, natatakot ka na baka dun ka pa mahawa. Tapos nun, I had to tell Joy kasi iba yung DILG intervention at saka iba yung city intervention. Di ba? Parang iba yung rules at nakikita rules lang. Pero iba, sabi nga ni Lino, iba pag nasa ground ka kasi may nuancing yung pagpapatupad ng batas. So, what did you do in those cases, sir, na merong iba yung approach ng DILG tas yung kayo mas haplos, di ba? Mas sila yung sampal?
Is the question directed to Mayor Lino?
Yes. Before I go to Lino, yes, sir.
Okay. Kaya naman kami merong Viber group ng cabinet secretaries. No? Meron kaming Viber group na Metro Manila Council only. Meron kaming Viber group na Metro Manila Council with MMDA heads, and meron din kami with the cabinet secretaries.
Ang daming Viber group.
So lahat ng mga queries doon, minsan nga, kunwari may mga conflicting statements or policies, ako, nagko-confirm talaga muna ako. At ako, hindi ako nahihiya magtanong doon. I always would ask, sirs, ma'ams, ano hubang policy natin dito? Because at the end of the day, ayoko naman gumawa ng salungat din sa national government. I do not want to do anything that is contrary to policy.
Tama naman. Pero, well, I'll go to Lino now. First friend, meron bang mga times yung feeling nyo, sobra kayong loaded na? Yun yung isang feeling kasi ng mga mayors, di ba? From the national government, kayo na lang talaga yung nasa ground na parang patong-patong naman tong rules na to. Tapos kailangan yung mag-decide on your own. Lino, how did you manage that?
You're absolutely correct, no? Just pagdating sa COVID, ang dami mong kailangang isipin, no? Yung PDITR, no? Prevent, detect, isolate, treat, rehabilitate. All of that we have to work with. Yeah. Remember, at the end of the day, people don't have jobs. So, sa pangmalaking aspeto 'yon. Prevent, no? We need to make sure that people are following rules. Detect, we have to have testing, disease surveillance. Isolate, you were talking about yung isolation facility. So, overwhelming. I think like Francis, marami sa amin nananaginip na minsan, no, ng numero. We wake up literally seeing how many people. There were times that gumigising kami, ilan ang namatay. It was
That's
that bad.
True. That's true.
Sorry, also, just you were asking the question on quarantine.
Yeah.
Nandito ako sa quarantine facility namin. So I'll show you, no?
Nainggit kami kasi golf course yung San Juan. Yan yung pwede niyang ipakita pero hindi niya mapakita ngayon, no?
So this one, Noel, we built this during the pandemic. Everything you see was built just in the last year. So itong quarantine facility namin, with the help of some of our experts, all of it was built so that we also address not just yung medical aspects, no, but also yung mas comprehensivong epekto ng COVID.
Was it all your money? Was it all your money, Lino? The Taguig government or tinulungan kayo ng private sector?
This one is LGU funds, but
Mayor Francis.
But it's in a property where the DPWH also helped us build yung groundwork. But yun yung part nung I think the difficult period during the start of COVID. We had to make very quick decisions.
That's true.
We had to decide on what to invest in, no? Testing. Kami, we built a laboratory, so we have our own molecular laboratory. But those are decisions na walang tama, walang mali eh.
Did you have problems with DOH? Like kunyari Mayor Marcy during our last forum said, ang tagal. Well, theirs was the first case kasi ng sariling lab, no?
Yes.
Parang kumusta kayo sa Taguig? Did you like have to fight it and like prove to them that you can like handle your own lab?
Sa amin, yun yung sinasabi ko, no? I think the advantage of the close relationship of the mayors, the Viber group with the national government officials. Each situation is really unique eh. Hindi mo pwede sabihin bakit si Mayor Francis nagpagawa nito, si Mayor Lino hindi. Because iba yung situation ng bawat city. So kami, we had a MOA with St. Luke's, we had a MOA with Red Cross.
Yeah, it's
so
true.
In the beginning, we felt like we didn't need to build a laboratory.
Mm-hmm,
But then as the months came, no, and then we saw our volume, malaki kami, we're probably 10 times the size of San Juan. We realized that we cannot depend on just 1 or 2 laboratories. So we built our own.
That's true.
It benefited us because nung nagkaroon ng surge, napuno rin yung government laboratories, napuno rin yung Red Cross. At least we had our own laboratory. Yung problema, no? We've had misunderstandings with the PNP, with the DILG, with the TOH, no? May time na sa BGC, may mga lumabas na police na may hawak na baton. I didn't like that because we were trying to encourage. We were trying to encourage people.
Remember, I saw you being interviewed on ANC and I said, wow, medyo si Lino na pikon nito kasi nga parang pag pinapangunahan ka ng press, ayaw mo yun eh. Well, totoo rin naman. I saw that you can contain things naman at maayos na usapan, pero pag parang may karga ba, parang that's not your style pag meron ng karga. So, ano man, maiksi ba yung mga PC ng mga tao during or did you have to understand that kind of a mindset?
Yeah, I think it was really important that we read properly the situation. At that time, alam mo, during the beginning of the pandemic, seryoso yung baka magkaroon ng chaos, ng public unrest.
Totoo yan.
Because everyone was anxious. Napapanood nila yung balita coming from Wuhan. Diba? You see it on Facebook. Hindi nila alam anong totoo, anong mali, anong totoo, anong gawa-gawa lang, what's fake news, what's real. So I think the mayors really had to, we really had to read the situation and show them when we will be consultative, when we will be decisive. So ako, when it's a question of implementing the rules, just like Mayor Francis, we will be strict in implementing the rules.
That's true.
But when it comes to things that are still debatable, that example, what are our plans for our future? How fast do we open up? How can we work together to get people back on the road, no? Back to having jobs? We don't have a monopoly in finding solutions. Yung Ayala, ang galing dyan. Early on, they decided na yung seniors nila, first month pa lang ng pandemic, yung seniors nila hindi na papasok, work from home. So ang bilis nila magdesisyon. We learned a lot also from our private partners, no? Yung paglabas rin ng mga bata, Noel. I wanted to share lang that also because Mayor Francis and I were the 2 cities that allowed children to go out in our mall. And up to now, maybe like him, no, I feel bad that we don't allow our kids.
That's
because
true.
We firmly believe, and that's something that I constantly appeal, no, to our experts. We firmly believe that under the supervision of our parents, we need to let children go out because we need to instill behavioral change. We cannot expect to open the schools at yung mga bata sanay na mag-mask at mag-distance. Precisely, I want them to go to the malls, Jollibee and McDo, because here they will listen and they will be careful. Matetrain sila. So when the time comes that we open up society, hindi magkakagulatan. So that's something that Mayor Francis and I were texting with early on. And up to now, we're appealing na we allow them in our malls to go out as long as there's parental supervision. And it will lead to allowing us to let them go back to school. Pero if we just suddenly allow them to go back to school because we think that the surge is over, ang hirap para sa mga teachers niyan.
Kasi ito pareho kayong taga-UP rin, no? Parang dito ang tagal na naka-close yung oval. Kahit sa mga bata, ang lalaki ng spaces, no? Parang kawawa yung mga bata at hindi naman talaga magkakalapit yung mga tao. So parang tama yung ganung take ninyo na oo, kailangan din ng mga bata basta may parental supervision. Kayo, bilang mga pamilyadong mga tao at bata pa yung mga pamilya nyo, no? Parang how did your lives change? Family lives change during the pandemic, Lino?
Ako, my wife, as you know, no, Englet is a professional volleyball player. So natamaan talaga yung profession niya.
That's true.
Like many Metro Manila families, our work and our lives aren't contained to one city alone. Si Phil would train in Pasig. No? So tama yung all the cities working together because no family in Metro Manila is contained into one city. So kami, nagbago yung buhay namin because apektado yung trabaho ng asawa ko. No?
Correct.
Hindi
lang. Because we see Mayor Isko almost not going home. I guess during these times, yung lalo
during
na
the days where we didn't know everything about the virus, no,
Yeah.
I had to move out because ngayon I know more about it. Pero I also had to move out and I also had to live away from my family for.
So it happened to you also.
It happened to me I did it for mga 2 weeks, around 3 times. No, even up to this year I did it. When I go around the hospitals, I stay away from home for a few days and get tested. So a lot of sacrifice then, and Mayor Francis and I are lucky we have Carrie and Phil, no, to really take care of our kids. I can't imagine because the kids are going through a lot, and you need also a strong parental presence.
But
So
these
ako
things the
personally,
people don't know, no? Parang na hindi ka umuwi ng 2 linggo or parang may mga times talaga na kailangan mag-ingat. Mayor Francis, ikaw, did you have to like stay out or live apart from your family during this pandemic?
Noel, ang challenge ko really is yung my wife kasi is a cancer survivor. No? So, noong February 2019, she was diagnosed with cancer. She's done with her treatment pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung oral medication and yung CT scan, PET scan every 3 or 6 months. No? So,
buti hindi siya takot sa hospital. Yun, di ba? A lot of like
takot siya sa akin.
Kasi daw, di ba? Parang ang daming ibang mga ailments yung hindi na napupunta sa natutugunan or kasi takot yung mga taong pumunta ng ospital kasama ng COVID cases.
Yes, well, yun nga, natatakot siya sa akin because alam niyang lumalabas ako araw-araw. And that's the challenge because that's my duty, di ba? So, I really have to strike a balance na I continue performing my task as mayor. At the same time, I have to keep my family safe. In fact, I tested positive for COVID February 28 and I was quarantined from March 1 to March 15. In fact, ako nga,
but asymptomatic, Mayor, no?
Yes, 100% asymptomatic. I went to Cardinal Santos Medical Center because I could not stay at home dahil baka mahawa ko pang asawa ko o mga anak ko. During that time, ang baba ng mga cases natin. In fact, February, a few days before that, we had recorded our lowest ever, which was just 30 cases noong February. Nung nagpunta akong Cardinal Santos, buong 7th floor, mag-isa lang ako.
Wow.
6 yung nurse na
quarantine nga talaga yun.
Kasi wala raw kahit isang pasyente sa buong 7th floor. So, and then after 2 weeks, yun na nga yung surge ng March. Biglang tumaas na siya. So kami, pag nag-ikot ako sa barangay, I always go out and inspect. Sometimes by bike pa nga, no? Nagba-bike patrol ako sa San Juan para makita ko rin yung observance sa minimum health protocols sa mga citizens natin. So it's always very scary for my family, for my children, because the threat is always there. So siguro kung tanongin mo ko ilang times na ako nag-swab, siguro mga 40 or 50 times na.
Hindi naman kita sa ilong. Okay lang.
Original ilong yan.
Okay, at least kahit tamaan ng bola, di ba, pag nag-basketball ka ulit.
Mga 40 or 50 times na ako nagpa-swab, Noel. It's no joke. Because sometimes meron kang scare, di ba?
Yeah, that's true.
Yung alam mong may nakasama ka na nag-COVID or biglang nag-positive, no? You will realize, the person you met with yesterday just announced that he's tested positive. And that same thing happened to me. No, nag-positive ako, I also had to call the people I was with a few days before to inform them. Diba?
That's being responsible.
And also when you shut down the offices, halimbawa may nag-test ng positive sa office ko, napipilitan akong i-shut down yung buong opisina. And it really affects yung trabaho ng bawat isa. But syempre safety first talaga.
That's true. I want to ask about the dynamics in the Metro Manila Council because you're both there, no? When you make decisions on the quarantine restrictions or the rules as a status, no? Are you leaning on the liberal side of opening up or you're leaning towards caution and yun parang mas conservative?
Iba kasi yung mindset ng 17 Metro Mayors. And you would
really, I want to know.
Masasense mo talaga yon sa discussions, no? Merong, iba-ibang side of the spectrum.
Ang maganda sa inyo, hindi kayo pabibon na nagpapa-interview bago, alam nyo na yung media, no? Parang tinitingnan nila, i-corner kayo para sabihin nyo na yung quarantine rule, no? Or status during that particular, the next 15 days or month, no? Pero kayo parang tahimik lang at hinihintay nyo yung decision. Pero yung sa decision making, are you like really more towards opening it up or more towards sige, wag muna hanggang sigurado?
Ako mas balance, no.
Okay.
Kasi of course factor na dito nagsimula sa San Juan, 'di ba? So,
pero ang ganda nga ng resolve na ikaw din yung unang tatapos hanggang 12. Yun eh.
So, iba yung aspect na I know it started here in San Juan. So, I always take a very balanced stance, no. Pero ang example ko rin dito is Christmas, no. Christmas, we never went beyond 100 cases in San Juan. In fact, na-sustain namin yung 60 to 70 cases lang even if dumaan tayo sa holiday. So, ibig sabihin kaya. 'Di ba? Kaya ng tao, kaya sumunod. Kaya naman natin i-maintain yung mababang cases while we live our lives close to normal, while the economy operates. So kaya naman talaga siya. Yung minsan lang talaga kapag may mga tulad yan, yung March, no? This was parang very
iba talaga,
unexpected kasi pumasok nga yung variants. But kita mo ngayon, even with the presence of the variants, na-control na naman natin siya ulit. We're back to where we were nung December.
It's not in the city. It's not in Metro Manila anymore, no? But Lino, ikaw, ang maganda sa inyo nga, Lino would only be on TV clarifying certain stance kung kailangan, but hindi kayo yung every time, every move, yun, pa-interview, no? So, what was your stand normally pag Metro Manila Council dun sa quarantine status?
Unang-una, Noel, I'll move back a bit, no? Kasi nag-text yung mga kaibigan natin sa industriya, ang pangit daw ng framing ko. Sabi ni
Ikaw pa mismo.
Anyway, kami in Taguig, no, we're proud that hindi kami maloloko dito dahil really a lot of our decisions is based on data. It's not based on masama ba gising ni Mayor o maganda ba gising. Ano nabasa niya, ano narinig niya sa DZMM or sa DCBB. Ano ba yung tinext sa kanya ng kaibigan niya. It's based on science and based on data. We have 5 data analysts na ang ginagawa lang nito is goes through Taguig data, barangay data. We know our case fatality per barangay. We can tell you the demographics and the case profile of each community. We've sat down with Okta when they said pinakamataas ang Fort Bonifacio for 1 week. We sat down with them. We showed them lahat ng mali nila. Umamin sila na wala silang epidemiologist. Yung mathematicians lang yung tumitingin. So sabi namin, how do you know when one has recovered, one has not? Sabi nila, we look at the DOH data. Sabi namin, pag late report yan and it's over 2 weeks, that's recovered. So
that's true.
Kami, yung nuances na gano'n, minsan nahe-headlines. Just the other day, a CNN reporter texted me na, anong masasabi nyo na isa kayo sa pinakamataas na kaso? So again, we eat data for breakfast. Ang sabi ko sa kanya, Taguig has always remained low. So yung kaya sinabi ng Okta na mataas kami ngayon kasi hindi nag-dip yung cases namin. So Metro Manila finally caught up with us. So kami throughout the last 3 months, 40 cases kami per 100,000. Yung Metro Manila nag-surge. Tapos ngayon bumaba. So lahat ng cities negative. Kami hindi negative kasi hindi kami nagbago. So with that said, we have the lowest case fatality rate. We have the lowest fatalities per 100,000. I'd say that in the beginning, we were very cautious and strict. But as soon as we knew more about the virus, and now various literature is available to us, we have our own city epidemiologist who's in touch with the international community. I'd say that I'm on the aggressive side of opening up. Right now, actually, I'll share with everyone also, Noel. Right now, you're gonna hear about surges. You're gonna hear about the Delta variant.
Delta variants, but then let's be more hopeful.
But people should stop looking at the headlines of how many thousand cases. We need to challenge the Department of Health to release regularly hospitalization rate. So like now, we have 50 cases per 100,000 in Metro Manila, pero wala pang kalahati yung hospitalization. Because yung seniors natin at yung may comorbidity, nabakunahan na.
Nabakunahan na, yes.
So,
yes.
at the end of the day, we need to see kung ano yung epekto sa atin sa COVID in terms of the severity of the sickness. So, even yung home quarantine, di ba? Dati takot tayo mag-home quarantine. Tayo, Noel, no? Wherever you go, no, whether it's an informal sector or a condominium, di ba pag may bulutong, no, pag may chickenpox, kaya natin i-quarantine. Di ba pag may sore eyes, kaya natin i-quarantine. So, we need to learn, we need to adapt, we need to get better. Hindi pwedeng last year, forced quarantine, ngayon forced quarantine pa lang. Ngayon dapat kung saan ka man nakatira, sa Riles ng tren o sa BGC, alam mo na kung anong kailangan mo gawin. And trabaho natin yon. Trabaho ng gobyerno yon na alam natin lahat. So ako, I'm a little bit more optimistic, especially if we have cities like San Juan, who's 70% vaccinated. So I'm praying the rest of us catch up with San Juan. And we'll be okay. We'll have a Merry Christmas. We just need to take the variant seriously. And until we really get a significant population vaccinated, keep our masks and your distance natin.
And you're on your way there. Before we go to the vaccination part, Lino, yung anong stand mo naman doon sa face shield? This has been very controversial in the past few days. No? So, do you see the need for it? Well, people have extensively talked about it because yun nga, parang because of the new variant. Had it not been for the new Delta variant, what's your position on that?
Sa akin, scientific. No? Sa akin, scientific. It keeps us protected. So you want to put a face shield, let's take out social distancing. If you want to take out your face shield, let's have social distancing. Pero kalokohan yung puno kayo, magkakatabi kayo, pero naka-face shield, pero bawal pa rin. Because the chances of you getting of virus transmission is so low. Kung open air naman kayo at nakahiwalay, bakit ka mag-mask? So sa akin, it's either or. Kung siksikan kayo sa jeep, mag-face shield ka. Pero kung nag-uusap lang tayo, nagkakwentuhan, kahit sa opisina o sa labas, I think the mask is appropriate. So if you just follow science, I think may logic naman dun eh. No? Up to now, I don't understand bakit 4 lang pwede sa elevator. Kung may face shield naman kayo tsaka mask.
At nabakunahan pa, no?
So those are some of the things na I think should be left to maybe more personal responsibility. No, but right now, masunurin naman kami. So what the IATF, we follow.
Okay, let's go to Mayor Francis. Mayor Francis, what's your stand on the face shield thing? Kasi yun nga parang, biglang because of the variant yan na yung naging parang rule ulit, no? But are we going towards a more progressive way of solving things with that?
Well, if you analyze pag naka-mask ka tapos naka-face shield ka, yung layer of protection mo must double, no? Especially because COVID can enter through your eyes.
That's true.
Tendency kasi kunwari you hold something, for instance, a doorknob or the table, and then out of habit, ma-scratch mo yung eyes mo. And then pwede kang ma-infect, diba? So, kung meron kang face shield, meron kang one layer of protection. Aminado naman ako na medyo hassle talaga ang face shield, especially
for me.
Hindi
ka naman nanguhuli, di ba? Hindi ka nanguhuli kung walang face shield yung mga tao. Mas magbibigay ka pa ng face shield. Siguro ganon, no?
Yung mask kasi ang mas talaga, yung mask is a must. But yung face shield sometimes depende sa circumstances eh. Like ako, sometimes when I'm out and pinapawisan ako, I really have to remove my shield just to wipe my eyes, my face. I get scared kasi baka yung pag-wipe ko ng eyes ko, nahawa ko pa yung sarili ko ng COVID, di ba?
That's true.
But it's really something na kailangan lang natin gawin. Lalo na nga because of the variants.
Dahil masunurin kayo ni Mayor Lino.
Masunurin, yes. At saka kung makakatulong din talaga siya. Ako, I honestly think, for instance, I touch my nose or my eyes, diba? At least babangga muna yun sa shield o babangga muna sa mask, diba? Minsan kasi out of habit, diba? Mapapagganong ka lang and then you realize, oh my God, baka nahawa ko na sarili ko ng COVID, diba? But
Inuna niya yung nose, Lino, kaya totoo yun.
I hope the time comes, no? I hope the time comes, syempre. With all honesty, I hope the time comes na pwedeng hindi na tayo mag-face shield, diba?
Lalo na kung bakunado.
Correct.
Let's segue to that. Lino, unahin ka na. ano yung best practices dun sa vaccination rollout? Kasi parang you've been so successful with that and you're able to accommodate a lot of people. Thank you for that help. What is there to learn from Taguig with your vaccine rollout?
I'll share some slides. Okay lang ba yun?
Yes.
Yeah, so well, sa amin medyo simple lang yung approach namin to vaccination. No?
Parang research lang ba to?
So, sige, let's fast forward it na lang.
Let's go.
Jen is a Atenista, no? She graduated just last year. She's helping me with our tech. Can you?
And yun, UP Ateneo together, good partnership.
Right beside her is my other policy advisor, a counselor from UP naman, no? So both here from college. Anyway, very quickly lang, no? Marami nagsasabi ang hirap daw kung online lahat. Kasi hindi lahat ng mga kababayan natin kaya mag-online. So in Taguig, it's a low-tech, high-tech solution. We go door to door and someone has an iPad, will register for you. So ito yung mga photos yan. January pa lang to, February pa lang. Wala pa yung sa Pilipinas. We registered them na. And then we print out a QR or we write it down in a piece of paper. So that's part of our low-tech, high-tech solution. Pangalawa naman, if nobody goes to your house, you can go to the barangay.
Yes.
So there's an assistant there who helps you register. And then pangatlo, syempre, the easiest way for a lot of us would be on your phone.
That's true.
And then one of the best practices in Taguig is really you're able to schedule yourself, no?
Yes.
Saan, kailan, anong oras. It's not
because
perfect.
of the multiple sites, no?
Yes. So we open probably 2,000 to 3,000 a day.
Yes.
Schedules. And then aside from that, we have group booking. Diretso sa mga subdivision, condo, homeowners associations. Then I'll show you our multiple sites. That's really one of the keys. Parang ano ho yan eh. Parang may tubig ka, no? You have a water supply, pero isa lang gripo mo.
Yeah.
So if you have a water reservoir, pero isa lang yung gripo mo, kahit anong bukas mo dyan, it will only flow a certain way. So in Taguig, we prepared all the vaccination sites even before the supply came.
Yeah.
So we had a plan as early as January and we revised the plan every 2 weeks because we learned something. So ngayon, ito na yung layout namin. No? We have around 12 vaccination sites and we have 2 mobile buses.
Galing.
The mobile bus today is in a factory, no? Factory ng Hopia na merong libo-libong mga workers. And the second one is in the British school where all the different international schools are being vaccinated. IS, Japanese Manila, Chinese International School. They're all in the British school compound. And the Taguig bus is there. So really it's a combination. But the philosophy is fast, safe, and accessible vaccination. I'll quickly show you yung mga sites, no? Because I think that's something na unique sa Taguig. It's really we're trying to put special attention to the experience.
Yeah.
Sa totoo lang, kapag kami tinanong nyo sa LGU, alam ni Mayor Francis to, monoblock lang yung katapat niyang vaccination.
Totoo naman.
Sa health center, monoblock lang yan, pila, babakunahan namin kayo. But we've been through enough, we've been through a lot, na we want the vaccination process not just to be safe and accessible, but we want it to inspire. Now we want it to tell you subtly that government is working and that we're thinking of the future. We're not just trying to solve a problem now. So the little things we do, including private-public partnership, like if you look at your screen, this is Samsung Hall. I'll just quickly go through our different vaccination sites.
Yes.
Ito yung Samsung Hall. Next is Vista Mall. We turned the whole parking lot into a vaccination site. We made partitions, put in air conditioners. We can do 1,500 a day.
Okay.
And then yung sa High Street, it looks like a gallery. No, we commissioned a Taguig street artist who drew this. We put up paintings from Taguig Arts Month. And ang nagpapabakuna dito yung mga magsasaka namin, magsasaka, mga vendors. And then the community hubs as well, we have it like the other cities. Ito namang Sea Breeze, lahat ng nagde-debut sa Taguig, dito pumunta. So ginawa naming vaccination hub. Kasi sarado ang mga resort at saka mga events place. So we work closely with the private sector. But siguro yung bottom line namin dyan, Noel, is we want vaccination to really inspire people and to make them feel like this is the ticket towards the new normal. That government is working and that if we trust each other, there is a way out of this. So to us, the experience is also important. Hindi sa walang naghihintay. We've had bad experiences na 2 hours, 3 hours nangyayari. But the same time,
Siguro nilapitan mo na yon. Knowing you, lalapitan mo, kakausapin mo para mas maging efficient.
and at that night, no, we try to solve the problem. The next day, we want to make sure that problem's resolved. Next week, we're opening a midnight vaccination sa High Street. So we'll be open till midnight. So yung mga workers natin kahit anong oras. And then we'll also be opening a senior citizen-only vaccination site that's catered specifically for the senior citizens. So we're gonna keep trying to do things. No, bago rin ho sa amin to, sa mga gobyerno, but we'll always keep trying to do new things, no, to make it a better, safer experience. So
pero
yun
paano
siguro
naman
ang
yung
biggest
vaccine
focus.
hesitation? Parang yung mga hesitant talaga magpabakuna, Lino, how do you like try to convince them now? Marami na, no? Pero how far are you from your target?
So right now, our target is 680,000 Taguigueños. We've vaccinated first dose 220,000. So 1 in 3 Taguigueños are vaccinated at least yung first dose. So we're on our way. I think the best way is really the Department of Health is speaking, our experts are speaking, our celebrities are making their case for vaccination and helping others. But ako, the best way is to really show that the experience is fast, safe, accessible. Kasi kung may isang naghintay ng 4 na oras, natakot na baka mahawa siya, pagbalik niya sa bahay niya, her whole household and their neighbors, it will be kakabahan silang bumalik, no? But if it was a good experience, ang bilis ko, 30 minutes, 45 minutes. Pagkatapos ko pumuntang High Street or SM Ora or Venice Mall, nag-mall ako sandali, ang safe pala ngayon doon. Then you inspire people, you're able to influence others. So I think we have to pay special attention, not just to the speed, pero ano yung vaccination experience.
That's nice. But you don't have the problem of lack of vaccines in Taguig, no?
Now no, because
ang sarap.
Now no, unfortunately, no, we owe it partly to a LaSalle professor. Si Secretary Vince Dizon is an economics professor.
Okay.
He's brought in a lot of private sector experts, no? Sir Pepot from Jollibee, Ma'am Margot from McDonald's. So yung supply chain, naka-layout yung supply chain. Bill Luz, Paulo Borromeo of AC Health, nakalatag yung supply chain. Pag mabilis ka magpabakuna, dumarating yung bakuna. Kung mabagal yung bakuna, mabagal yung pagbabakuna mo, mabagal yung dating ng bakuna. And it's very transparent. Every day it's there. And the private sector sees it every day. At hindi ka bibigyan ng bakuna if you don't have the capacity to vaccinate. So kami, we just keep on jabbing and the vaccines come from the national government. Right now, the system works.
Ay kailangan nga yun. At saka sa inyo, nag-work na kahit surprise. Yung mga nagpabakuna tayo sa iyo ng mga taga Star Magic, okay mag-Sinovac. Di ba? Parang ganun, no? So walang discrimination sa brand. Anyway, we'll finish lang the vaccination rollout in San Juan. And of course, idol natin yung San Juan kasi nga first na kaso pero first na sana matapos. We have our colleagues also from Radyo Katipunan there already. We're ready to field their questions. Okay, Mayor Francis, paano kami mabibilib? Ano yung pwede naming tularan? Ano yung pwedeng tularan ng ibang mga cities sa San Juan?
Okay, so si Mayor Lino nag-presenta ng slides, so it's my turn.
Mga sports personalities din, medyo competitive. Okay, go.
Sige. Pero ano to, vaccine-related lang o COVID?
Well, you can like go through as fast as you can.
I'll go through it as fast as I can.
Now, yeah.
Sige, okay. Anyway, first of all, we allocated 50 million pesos way back last October 2020 to procure vaccines. No? In fact, we have ordered 100,000 doses of AstraZeneca. Kaya lang sa ngayon, hindi pa rin siya talaga dumarating. So nauna nang dumating yung supply from the national government, which yun yung ginagamit natin ngayon. Okay, next please. Okay, we launched our online registration January 4. And wala kaming walk-in dito sa San Juan because for us, we want everyone to pre-register because this will allow us to get the data. If you are really a comorbid or you're really a senior citizen, you have to be organized and systematic, hindi pwedeng bara-bara or else magkakagulo-gulo yung vaccination program mo. Now, if you would ask paano naman yung mga medyo hindi tech savvy or walang internet access, meron kaming parallel na barangay-based registration. So that means you can go to the barangay hall and we have our barangay staff there who will help you register online. And meron din kaming on-the-ground house-to-house campaign wherein, just like in Taguig, our City Hall employees go around the different barangays with tablets so that the people can register on the spot online. Next, please. So ito ako, no? Ginawa ko sarili ko as the ambassador for the vaccine program. Kasi kailangan pakita ko sa mga constituents ko na ako mismo.
Yung biceps, Noel, yung sumikat na biceps.
Oo, pero you didn't jump the line, no? Hinintay mo talaga na yun parang ma-approve na ng national government na pwede na yung mga mayors. Di ba? May time kasi na nauna pa yung ibang mga local officials.
Correct. I truly believe that the mayors should be included dun sa priority. Pero hindi ito pinayagan ng IATF ng simula, so naghintay kami. Eventually, pinayagan na ang mayors in high-risk areas such as Metro Manila to be vaccinated. So that was the only time ako nagpabakuna. No?
Can I ask what brand, Mayor?
Sinovac. I was vaccinated with Sinovac.
Pareho naman tayo, yan.
Okay, next please. Okay. So ito nga, in preparation for the arrival of the vaccines, ang dami namin kinonduct na simulation for about 2 months while waiting for the vaccines to arrive.
Correct.
Practice lang kami ng practice.
And you had all the time, di ba? Kasi medyo parang basketball rin lang.
Exactly. So para when the time comes, parang kahit nakapikit ka, kayang-kaya na. Okay, next please. So I'll just run through the slides quick. Yung mga hindi masyadong important, you will bypass na.
So a lot of consultations and preparations.
Yes.
So this was before the surge.
Yes, ito yung house-to-house on the ground natin. Madalas din tayo nagkakaroon ng virtual town hall meetings. So we would always invite the infectious disease doctors to talk about the importance of the vaccine. And nakakatawa na because itong si Dr. Salandanan eventually became my doctor nung nagka-COVID ako. So, Cardinal Santos Medical Center siya. Okay, next.
So this was before the surge, no?
Yes, correct. So ito yung kumuha na kami ng ultra low freezer because we were informed nga that Pfizer was gonna come.
Yeah.
So aside from our regular 2 to 8 degrees na mga refs, kumuha na kami ng ultra low freezer.
When you say kumuha, Mayor, binili nyo na ba o nire-rent? Kasi di ba na-late din yung Pfizer from for a time?
Nag-rent kami, no?
Oo. Kasi ang dami daw na din dyan nung hindi dumating on time.
Correct. It's not practical for us to buy a low freezer. It's also not practical for us to build a facility for this because unang-una, hindi naman ganun karami talaga yung Pfizer supply. And next, once we're done vaccinating with Pfizer, what happens to the freezer? Sayang naman pinili ko. So nag-rent lang kami. May mga matutulungin naman ng mga companies that give it at a very low price. Kung makatulong na rin nila sa San Juan.
Lino, notice the rubber shoes, no? Okay.
Matching barat yan. Matching.
Oo nga eh.
Next, please.
Ayan
okay,
na.
next please. Okay. So our main vaccination center is the Phil-Oil Flying V Center. So for those who watch the UAP at yung Philippine Super League, familiar kayo dito sa Phil-Oil, it's a 4,000-seater stadium and it allows us to accommodate up to 2,000 people a day.
Very good.
While following minimum health standards. So next please. So naging maayos na location ngayon. So here I am, okay?
Biceps
yan yung biceps and triceps na sinasabi ni Gertin. So ang bakuna ay ligtas, epektibo, pinag-aralan ng masusi, no? Aprobado ng eksperto, pasado sa FDA, subok sa ibang bansa. During this time kasi marami pa talagang nagdadalawang isip sa vaccine. Hindi pa dumarating yung vaccines ng time na to. Pero
can you give us a profile of those people na mahirap kumbinsihin? Kasi sinasabi nila senior citizens and those from the lower income bracket.
That is true. Yung ating middle to high income constituents mas open-minded sa vaccine. Yung mga lower income families natin mas nagdadalawang isip. And I believe it's because of the Dengvaxia experience.
That's true. That's
Marami
true.
kasi sa mga lower income families natin ang naranasan yung Dengvaxia. So the stigma is there.
So you can
That's
say hindi problema sa San Juan yung magpapabakuna. Ang problema nyo ba supply?
no. We never had the problem with supply as well.
Ang
Just
galing.
like
Ang
ang
galing.
ang nagiging challenge lang really is halimbawa yung meron kaming supply, ayaw namin kasing mag-over vaccinate ng sobra-sobra because ang mangyari matatapos lahat in a day or two, pero yung bilang naman ng tao masyadong high volume na, no?
So I want to understand that over-vaccinate means ayaw nyo i-crowd din yung mga tao.
Correct. Yes, correct. We don't want to push for too much in a day because it's pointless if we could split it in a couple of days, but ensuring naman na safe ang bawat isa. So what we do now is we extend our vaccine hours, or ito nga, magbubukas kami ng third site namin. So that at all times wala tayong naging problema sa.
So if Lino's opening up a midnight vaccination program, si Joy has bakuna nights, ano yung mangyayari sa San Juan na parang innovation naman, Mayor?
Okay. Tulad niyan, nagbakuna nights at saka nag-evening vaccination ang Taguig and QC.
Yes.
Wala naman masamang gawin din namin, di ba?
Yes,
so yun yung maganda sa amin mga mayors eh. Hindi nag-iinggitan, hindi nagsasama ng loob.
Nagpaparaffle ka na ba, Mayor? Para bakuna yung mga tao? Hindi pa naman.
Kaya ang ginawa namin dito, I issued Executive Order number 81. First na, yung EO 81, we encourage all businesses to have all their employees vaccinated.
That's true.
So that once they receive their 2 doses, we will install stickers outside their business establishments
very
na
good.
100% vaccinated para yung consumer hindi natatakot pumasok. Next, Executive Order number 82, wherein we are encouraging all business establishments to give any kind of discount or privilege to anyone who can show a vaccine card, regardless if you are from San Juan or other cities. So that two-way, it's a win-win situation. Para dun sa vaccinee, he or she will enjoy any perks or discounts. Para naman sa business establishment, increase foot traffic sa kanya. Kasi yung mga may vaccine card potentially ay customer na sa kanyang restaurant, sa tindahan. So ang gusto namin sana rito, for instance, you go to Green Hills. You go to Green Hills for lunch, eat in a restaurant na may discount ka dahil bakunado ka. After which, bibili ka ng cellphone, may discount ka dahil bakunado ka. After which, bibili ka ng damit sa Tiangge, may discount ka na naman. So yun yung experience sa gusto namin. No? So nakakatulong siya doon sa iba, lalo na yung mga taong mahilig sa discount, di ba? Parang parang he will just hop from one establishment to another enjoying a perk or discount. Yung iba hindi naman discount, yung iba libreng iced tea, libreng dessert.
Maramdaman lang na merong incentive, no? Okay yun.
Correct. And this is apart from yung yung bakuna yung bakuna program ng national government, yung the private sector has also given discounts, no, yung mga enrolled businesses na. So maraming yung perks para sa mga bakunado.
Lino, ikaw ba kailangan mo nang magpa-raffle? Well, kasi of course we know yung house and lot ng ibang mga cities, no? Did you have that, or what other encouragement aside from the very laudable yung vaccine experience?
Yeah, what yung mini-mention ni Mayor Francis, no, yung bakuna benefits. So we're working with the private sector. Ang dami ng perks ngayon.
Galing.
Ng pagbakunado ka.
That's true.
In fact, going to the mall alone to be vaccinated, it was relayed to us now by one of the communication experts na private sector, is already a perk. So sabi nila, yung vaccination site mo na sa mall, no, it adds some excitement kasi ang tagal nang hindi lumalabas ng mga tao. Siyempre, it's anxiety, but to some naman, lalo yung mga seniors na bawal lumabas, it's already motivation. And then now, when you get your vaccine card, pwede ka ng, marami ka ng mga benepisyo, take out, etc. Then it's an added benefit. But something that we communicate regularly is really the maskless Christmas. I think that's one of the most powerful tools na pwede natin sabihin na sana sa Christmas mayakap ko yung apo ko, sana makasama ko yung pamilya ko. I haven't hugged my mom for a year and a half. You know, I look up to her in the porch. No, doon ako sa garden niya every Sunday. Ang hirap. And the thought of being able to hug her this Christmas is really one of the main motivations behind me wanting to do vaccination, right? Kasi alam ko ang daming pamilya na gusto yakapin ng apo ang kanilang lolo't lola, hindi nila magawa.
Can we do that already this Christmas? And Lino, are you ready to open theaters by Christmas? No, we work for them with the Metro Manila Film Fest. Yun yata parang kakayanin na ba? We've been trying to vaccinate.
6 months ago, I was ready to open the cinemas. No, kasi I think the air filtration system can be monitored, yung air exchange, and then you can wear your masks. So ako personally,
na siguro, no?
Yeah, ako medyo pagdating kasi dyan sa akin, kung pwede ka kumain sa closed space, bakit hindi ka pwede manood ng sine sa isang closed space na may mask ka naman, and then we can monitor the air exchange, no? But that's a bigger debate. I do think in December it is entirely possible. The national rollout plan, the phase 1 would be NCR fully vaccinated by November. So 2 weeks after November, early December, right now we're on target to hit it. We just need to follow the strategy, and part of the strategy is fighting the virus, no, at its source, and that's NCR. Kaya tumataas ang mga kaso sa ibang lugar kasi dense yung NCR, tsaka nandito yung airports natin and a lot of our international flights. So part of that strategy is really to bombard NCR, so we lower the cases here and we prevent the surge. The last 3 surges in the country started with NCR tapos probinsya. NCR, tapos ngayon naman probinsya. Yung susunod, sabi ni Father Nick of UST and Okta,
I heard
it
that.
will again be NCR, then it will be followed by the probinsya. So hit it daw at its source.
Pero sana, no, hindi na natin maranasan yung gano'n. At least now we're being more prepared, no? But and with what you're doing with regards to vaccination, parang handa tayo para harapin yan. Anyway, I have here my colleagues now from Radyo Katipunan raring to ask you questions, and it's nice like to have them fresh faces. We have, well, let's start with paano yan, the youngest ba or the more experienced? Well, Lester Mendiolas with the Jesuit Music Ministry. Well, he was with us kanina when we like welcomed the remains of the urn of President Noynoy Aquino. And then Engineer James Wong will be joining us. And another one, si Maxine Cruz, probably the youngest of us here, a student of Ateneo, pamangkin ni Panji Gonzalez Lino, na yan, that's Ateneo, to represent the younger Atenean. So can we shoot the questions? Lester, ikaw na muna.
Yes, siguro yung question ko, since many young people are watching right now from our campus, and our mayors, our millennial mayors, what do you think are the major advantages of being young leaders in the pandemic? Do you think that it could have been different if yung mga mayors natin are not young as you guys are?
Mas madali silang kausap. Di ba? Anyway, like, how do you answer that, Mayor Francisco and Danilo?
Sige, Lester, no, sabihin ko siya to. Itong pandemic, no, dito lalabas kung sinong magaling at hindi. Kasi extraordinary times to eh. So, hindi ito yung normal routine na trabahong mayor.
That's true.
This will give you a platform to shine, or it will also lead to your political destruction.
That's true.
Kasi talagang masusubukan ka, no? And I guess ang advantage namin na mga medyo bata, kami ni Mayor Lino, halos 2 or 3 years apart lang naman kami, no? Bilang younger leaders, una-una ako, every single day nitong pandemic, hindi ako natakot lumabas. Hindi ako natakot na gawin ang tungkulin ko because I know na this is my responsibility as mayor. So I'm careful, yes, but I'm not scared. And I know that the people of San Juan are very happy with the fact that I never disappeared during this pandemic. In fact, naka 16 waves kami ng food packs distribution sa San Juan. So hindi nagutom ang mga taga San Juan during the pandemic. In
At
fact, I
hindi
was
spreader, no? At hindi spreader yung
Yes.
pamimigay ng ayuda.
No, because house to house siya, Noel, no? Hindi namin sila pinapalabas ng bahay o pinapapila.
So
These
hindi
are distributed house to
isda yung
house.
pinamigay mo, Mayor.
Hindi bangus? Ay, yung
Hindi
bangus?
bangus at isda. O yung pinamigay mo.
Hinuli ng pulis yun, yung namigay ng isda na dikit-dikit.
Okay.
So, yun, advantage talaga yung the youthfulness. Of course, yung mindset din kasi ng bata, iba, no? Yeah, we are not traditional in the way we think. We are very progressive. We have new ideas, fresh things to do. Yung innovation is always there. So, yun ang advantage ng young.
And you listen, no? And yeah.
Yes, that's true. Something I learned in Harvard, no?
Wow. After Lasal, Harvard, UP Harvard.
So alam mo yung leadership, yung power, ganun. Hindi na siya yung traditional power na alam natin na ang leader may power, ganun. It's really the power to inspire, no? Because once you inspire people, that is power in itself. Yung ginagawa, yung pinapakita mo na ito ang dapat gawin at kung gayahin ka nila, that is power in itself. So, I guess the mindset of the younger leaders are very different. Iba yung paraan ng pag-iisip namin. So, with
Lino, ikaw. Game. I never imagined you to be like what na may public service part palagi si Lino, pero yun nga parang maging politiko is something parang it's taking away from our industry kasi. So, Linz, paano?
Una, hello Lester, Maxine, Engineer James. Hello. I hope like the other young people here in Taguig, I can encourage you to serve in government. And I think that's the first good thing, the best thing that I've done so far is agenda number 1 was to make working in government a top choice, no? Kasi alam naman natin all the best Ateneo, UP, Lasal graduates pinag-aagawan na ng Ayala, ng Unilever, di ba? All the countries are, all the private sector jobs are lined up. Yeah. And sabi ko, if all the best people go to the private sector, sinong matitira sa gobyerno? So kaya pala, mabilis yung pila sa Globe, matagal yung pila sa gobyerno. Kaya pala, mabilis ang proseso sa pribado, matagal ang proseso sa gobyerno. So I think we need to encourage more young people to join government, and that's something I also attribute to President Pinoy. A lot of us were inspired, di ba, na hindi mo kailangan maging traditional para mag-serve sa gobyerno. Okay lang yung ganito. Okay lang na nag-text ako kay Mayor Joy. Sabi ko, pwede bang gayahin yung bakuna nights mo? Kung okay lang kay Mayor Francis, kwento ko, nag-text siya sa akin, saan mo nahanap yung bollard para sa bike lanes mo? Di ba yung lang naman tanong eh. I think a lot of us are, hindi naman kami insecure, no? Actually, nag-represent si Mayor Francis. Siguro, dapat sinasabi ko, uy, kunin nyo nga yung deck ko na 60 pages.
Hindi kayo ganun.
Tayo ng San Juan.
That's true.
But honestly, for us, I think really the real testament is, have we inspired people? Are the lives of our constituents better, a little bit better? I think that's the real proof. So, siguro yung medyo less yung insecurity, more yung openness, more yung camaraderie. I don't know, no? Next year is election year, so we'll find out who of us are re-elected. But kami, it's just about the job, no? And what needs to be done. I think that's one advantage namin.
Maganda sa inyo, parang it's your political service is not, or your life as public servants, hindi yan career. Eh. Parang ganun, meron kayong ibang pwedeng puntahan pa. Pero yan talaga yung parang mission, parang calling. Let's go to James, Engineer James, to shoot your question. Go.
Hi there. Hello po, Mayors. Yung pagiging bata po ninyo, hindi po ba ito parang nakapigil sa inyo, or what did you feel? Did you feel scared being young being mayors, or mas lalo pa pong lumakas ang loob po ninyo?
Kunyari sa Metro Manila Council ba? Kasi medyo senior pa rin yung leader niya doon, no? Parang, did any one of the young mayors vie for chairmanship there? Natawa kayo pareho.
Wala naman naging real contest in terms of the positions sa Metro Manila Council. But regardless kami, kahit naman hindi kami president or chairman, ang maganda kasi sa grupo, you can always speak your mind, you can always give suggestions, and at the same time, you can also seek help from the others. No? Wala kasing walang
this is not a contest, no?
Exactly, walang culture na parang sapawan or pagalingan eh. So, yun ang maganda dito sa group ng
Francis,
our batch, no?
If the filmmaker in me, no, ang sarap gumawa ng documentary ng mga Metro Manila debates namin because ang sarap talaga because everyone speaks their mind. It's close to the press. Most of it will never get out. But since March, nagsisigawan kami pero pagkatapos nun, okay ka ba dyan, kuya? Oh, bro, hayaan mo na. Tingin ko tama sila. Minsan magkakampi kami ni Francis. The next week magkalaban kami. Si Mayor Toby naman kakampi ko. It's such an open discussion and open debate.
But what's important is people listen, no? Yun naman yung mahalaga doon.
We listen to each other and we learn a lot from each other. Naging advantage rin yung bata kasi siguro pag medyo masyado kaming passionate or outspoken, pwedeng, mo na, bata kasi yan, bago kasi yan eh. So sometimes
but it's always a common good that you're after. Yun yung pinakamahalaga. Punta tayo sa bata, pinakabata dito. Max, go.
So hello again. Good afternoon, Mayor Francis and Mayor Lino. I was just wondering, with this teamwork you have with the other mayors of NCR and how both of you are close to herd immunity, which is really nice to see. Like when you talked about cinemas, I got really excited. But when you do reach herd immunity, will you be opening vaccination to people of other cities, especially keeping in mind that the goal is for NCR to be safe by Christmas?
They are actually, no? Para ayo, go, answer.
Okay, when A4 opened up here in San Juan, meron kaming A4 na pang San Juan, meaning you are a San Juan resident working in San Juan or other cities. Then meron kaming A4 para sa mga non-San Juan residents working in San Juan. So I believe that we have to vaccinate both because regardless of the fact that if you live in San Juan or not, fact is araw-araw ka nandito sa city namin. Nagtatrabaho ka or nakatira ka rito. So we have to ensure na vaccinated na kayo so that we can eventually really bring down to zero the number of cases. Now, once we are done with everyone living and working here in San Juan, we can always help other cities vaccinate their constituents. Ang critical lang talaga dyan is the vaccine supply. Now, remember, there's a prioritization list. In fact, it started with A1, then A2, A3, then A4, ngayon nga A5 na. So, yung vaccine supplies na inaasahan natin, nararamdaman natin, but not yet to the point na talagang sobrang dami na. So we are still prioritizing at this point. If and when the time comes na talagang millions and millions of doses na yung hawak natin sa Metro Manila, it would be nice talaga na lahat ng 17 LGUs tulungan na. Because ang Metro Manila naman, dapat hindi ituring na individual LGUs. Dapat ituring isang metropolis, one huge metropolis that is all contiguous. So, yan ang point of view ko siya.
Go, Lino.
Yeah, same lang, Maxine. So right now, if you work in Taguig, you will be vaccinated. So trace.taguig.gov.ph. If you're a resident in Taguig, if you have a house in Taguig, if you have a condo in Taguig, everything you can do online. Pati yung schedule, time, place, and hub. But if you work in Taguig, you need to do it through your business. So let's say you work in a fast food in Taguig or you work in a call center in Taguig, yung HR head mo will communicate with us and we schedule you by block. So 100, 200. And we vaccinated over 10,000 workers already who are not from Taguig but work in Taguig. Pero aside from that, there are particular sectors that we need to pay close attention to even if they don't work or live in Taguig. Example, media and production. Easily, I can have media here in Taguig shooting or doing a story. Madadala nila dito yung sakit kung hindi sila bakunado. No? So there are particular industries. For example, Grab. I think Grab is based in Makati or Mandaluyong, pero nagdi-deliver sila dito sa Taguig. So, nag-offer rin kami sa Grab to be vaccinated. So, as long as their interests intersect with the safety of our city, we want to vaccinate them. Those doing commercials, photo shoots, they shoot here in the city of Taguig. They cover our events in the city of Taguig. So we want to vaccinate them. And then the Joint Task Force also assigns us sometimes, like today we did seafarers. No? We vaccinated 500 seafarers. These are 500 individuals who will now be working, who will now be going back to work. So their families will now have a livelihood. So may mga particular assignments na ina-assign sa amin ng Joint Task Force. Anyway, kanila naman yung bakuna. We're just a vessel. So we just keep on vaccinating.
Galing.
But yun. But ang argument naming Metro Manila mayors, sorry, no, pag natapos yung isa, ang sabi ni Chairman Abalos and most of us agreed, tuloy-tuloy lang kami. Tulungan lang. Tuloy-tuloy lang lahat ng mga hubs.
Pero paano yung easing of restrictions, Lino? Do you see that happening pag bakunado na yung mga tao? Kasi parang, at ano yung threshold siguro? Kasi parang yun yung ina-achieve natin. Pero kung lahat pa rin, parang ganun pa rin ka-tight, no, yung mga restrictions. Ano yung pwedeng i-look forward ng mga bakunado? Ano yung benefits nun?
Yeah, I think when we look into easing of restrictions, we need to look at two things. One, ano yung vaccination rate? Ilan sa atin yung bakunado? Pangalawa, ano yung prevalence ng disease sa lugar natin?
That's true.
So kung mataas yung kaso, kahit bakunado tayo, I'm 90% protected, there's a 10% chance na mahawa ako. Kung madaming mga may sakit, that's still high. Pero if our prevalence keeps low, so like ngayon, we're not in a surge, mababa, and we get a significant number vaccinated, pwede na tayo magtanggal ng mask. So yun yung difference. No? Tinatanong ng iba, bakit sa US nagtatanggal na lahat? Kasi a significant number is already vaccinated and mababa na yung transmission nila. Hindi pwedeng bakunado ka na, wala ka ng mask. Kasi kung wala kang mask, you're still exposed. There's still a 5 to 10% chance you'll get sick. Sa US kasi bumaba na yung transmission at majority na yung nabakunahan. So you need those two elements, and we think we can get it by late November or early December. Those two things.
Ang galing. Kasi at least we can look forward to that. At yun, parang kayong dalawa talaga yung I think mauuna doon. No? So yun, we're cheering you on. Lester, another round of questions. Go.
Yes, I'd like to ask a question that's not related to COVID response, Noel, particularly to Mayor Lino Cayetano. Sir, question po, don't you miss your life in the entertainment industry? And then, what's your stand with the shutdown of ABS-CBN?
Allah, okay.
Very much.
Very vocal about it, huh? Anyway. Go.
Very much. Well, I think Noel and I follow each other in Instagram. No, my profile is still black. Niluluksa ko pa rin yung pagkasarado ng ABS. But since we're being candid, I was in ABS. Namili sila ng kandidato. We know that, no? Even Pinoy Villar, namili sila ng kandidato. Duterte Rojas, namili sila ng kandidato. Mali yun. Hindi dapat namimili ng kandidato ang isang estasyon na may prangkisa. With that said, I don't think they should have been shut down. No? I think there are reforms that could have been put in place so that politicians cannot use media for their personal interest. I do not think they should have been shut down. I think we should have given the 1-year grace period so there'll be proper debates and transparent debates, and there will be reforms instituted so that no politician ever can use media for their personal advantage. Masakit sa akin na sarado. Many of my friends lost work. It's a sore spot.
But a lot of them you've absorbed.
I've absorbed some work help me now in the city of Taguig, audio men, cameramen, and I'm blessed with their presence here helping us in the city. But much too many people have lost jobs for us to shut down a station who has done mostly good things for our country. A station who's really upheld the values of our country when it comes to freedom, fighting corruption, and I don't think they deserve to be shut down. At the very least, they deserve to be heard in an exhaustive, fair hearing. And yes, I do miss my old job. Thanks, sir, for the question.
Thank you, sir.
Practice during the calamities, iba yung sinasabi. Doon mo nararamdaman yung yung kailangan presence ng media. And also now, di ba, parang it seems like Lino, alam mo naman to, kailangan din mag-step up yung media kasi dapat yung fact-checking din ng mga tao. Parang ngayon, parang naging kampante ba? Do you feel that, Mayor Francis? Yung tipong, kunwari yung batikos sa inyo kung minsan talagang iba. Parang, pero kasi wala na ngayong nag-check sa bawat isa eh.
Well, alam mo, bahagi na ng buhay namin ni Mayor Lino yung, siyempre, madalas, minsan merong wrong interpretation ng mga ginagawa, no? Merong fake news, lalo na yung social media is, is a wild card. No? It can make or break you, lalong-lalo na kasi yung presence ng mga gumagawa ng fake news, no? That's part of the governance during itong panahon namin as mayors. No? So wala yan dati, no? Dati talaga mainstream media lang ang meron ngayon. Ang laking factor talaga ng social media. Lalong-lalo na yung younger voters natin na like my daughter, talagang she's 20 years old. So ano siya, no? Talagang lahat ng mga information na kukuha niya sa social media nang gagaling. So talagang it's part of our the challenge as mayors, no? Ang maganda naman din sa social media, kung masipag ka talaga kasi hindi mo kayang dayain eh. Lalo na yung Facebook Live, no? I utilize Facebook Live very often because people can really see you kung ano yung nangyayari. Hindi siya scripted, di ba? Hindi siya planado kasi anything can happen during a Facebook Live. Kung may heckler doon, kung may magbuo sa'yo, kung may sumampal sa'yo, di ba? Kumbaga, hindi mo makokontrol yun eh. Pero yun din yung, it's real, di ba? It's the real thing. It's as real as it gets. So, ano na siya, kumbaga, ibang aspect din eh. Ako, nag-i-enjoy ako sa Facebook Live kasi ano siya, totoo siya. Kumbaga, it's the reality show. Di ba? Kasi,
but you know that, well, since we're coming from this kind of generation, na parang the best things are not on social media. Di ba? Parang we continue to live the best things and the best life. Yun siguro yung parang magandang pointer din sa mga bata ngayon. Parang hindi lang nakapako doon yung buhay. James, your probably last question this round,
With what happened po nowadays yung pandemic, so many people are presenting ideas, so many people are making suggestions to you. Do you not get overwhelmed, or at least where do you get the wisdom to pick the best perhaps? Kumbaga, nagmi-mix and match po ba kayo so that you will be able to deliver what is best for your respective cities?
Maganda yung tanong kasi parang ako, rephrasing that, parang whose advice do you seek? But, well, depende naman, no? Pero yung isang guide ko kasi, at alam yan ni Lino, parang yung advice na isi-seek mo or yung i-follow mo, yung walang taya, yung walang kabig. Di ba? Parang yun yung medyo parang mas totoo. Pero kayo, ang daming information, ang daming parang mga ideas. So, nagmamarunong din kung minsan, no? But whose advice do you like follow or seek?
Mayor Lino?
Ako, I think both of us are blessed, no? Mayor Francis and I, no, that we have people like ako, Tito Ronnie Zamora, no, that the dad of Mayor Francis. I actually text him and ask for advice once in a while. My Ate Pia, my brother Alan, these guys debate each other when I ask them a question. Iba ang sagot ni Ate Pia, iba ang sagot ni Alan. No, then Tito Ronnie is also very different the way he thinks. And then,
but I'd like to think you're different from them too. Alam mo yan.
Oh, and then really we try to expand the stakeholdership of the city. So when I make decisions about a particular area or community, I talk to someone who knows the area or the community.
Okay.
So kung tungkol sa BGC yan, I'll talk to FBTC, I'll talk to the mall owners, I'll talk to the residents. If it's about peace and order, I'll talk to the PNP, but I'll talk to a barangay captain, I'll talk to a chief tanod. So I think really it's the openness to get a lot of ideas. But you're absolutely correct. It can get overwhelming. Mas madali yung isa lang pinapakinggan mo tapos pamewang ka na lang, di ba? Tapos sabihin mo, hindi, mayor ako masusunod. It's more difficult to get everyone's idea, but you don't need consensus, no? You need to eventually you just need to make a decision. As long as you've heard, you feel like you've heard enough opinions. Yun yung mahirap. Parang have I exhausted enough yung avenues available for me to make the right decision? And then of course, pray talaga. Kasi yung prayer helps give you some clarity eh. So that siguro for me, Engineer James.
mag-pray ka naman sa lakeshore na gano'n, no? Di ba? Parang ang fortunate mo. Ikaw, Mayor Francisco.
Yeah, very important talaga yung discernment kasi talaga maraming iba-ibang klaseng opinions, no? And ako, I'm very open-minded. I listen, but at the end of the day, syempre magde-decide ako based on facts, based on data. No? Never decide based on emotions. Do not ever be impulsive. No? Kailangan talaga dyan, pag-aralan mo. Data-driven din ako. Numbers will never lie, di ba? Sometimes, marami silang sinasabing, oh, ganito, ganyan. But at the end of the day, your numbers will never lie. So, especially when you make decisions sa, kunwari, ano yung magiging policy for certain things, titingnan mo what data do you have on hand and how this data will affect your decision making. So, yun lang. Dapat talaga data-driven tayo. Dapat may basis ang desisyon. Wag impulsive, wag emotional.
Okay. Spoken like a true sportsman. Go, Maxine.
Actually, on the note of being a sportsman, so I
Pareho
read that,
sila, ha?
yes, exactly. Like they were both athletes when they were in college, and
Yeah.
with being an athlete here, it's clear that when it comes to training and preparing for tournaments and games, you really need discipline and a good attitude.
Yeah.
So, did your experiences as athletes or with this training prepare you in any way for your roles in office?
Mayor Lino, go ahead, please.
Thank you. Ayan, nagpapasahan na kami ng bola. Absolutely, Maxine. I think yung ako, I would have never gotten into UP if not for sports. Until the last day, I was waiting if I was accepted in the UP volleyball team. Because UP volleyball accepted me, I got a sports scholarship. I got into UP. I learned so much, and foremost is really yung being able to trust your teammates. Not just on the court, but in the locker room. Really just to be able to depend on each other and believe in each other. I think those things made me a successful director. And then I carried on into the other things I do in life. Yung tanong kanina ni Lester about my previous profession, I think Noel would know this, di ba? Kung may tanong ka tungkol sa kwento, tanong mo yung writer. Kung may tanong ka tungkol sa ilaw o sa disenyo ng ilaw, you ask a cinematographer. If you have a question about the design, you talk to your production designer. So parang ganun din yung training namin sa sports. I think it really allowed us to, especially team sports. I think iba yung mindset ng individual sports. I can't speak for that. Pero yung team sports, you really learn When you're a freshman, di ba pare Francis, when you're a freshman, you depend on the seniors. Slowly, nakakita ka ng leadership role. Pag senior ka, kahit yung homework ng mga teammates mo, tinuturuan mo, kahit yung panligaw. Ako, hatid sundo ako sa iba kong teammates. Nung ako naman naging senior, sila yung hinahatid sundo ko. So I think sports is an amazing background for any kind of leadership role.
Tsaka parang masasaktan ka, pero ang dali niyong umangat ulit. Yung tipang matalo kayo, pero it's all part of your life. It's another game tomorrow. Parang ganun yata yung mga taong sports. Yes, you missed basketball, of course.
Naalala ko tuloy si Father Tito Kaluwag, di ba, who was for a long time on top of the basketball program. But ganyan yung mga lessons na tinuturo niya
True.
By the way, Mayor Francis was talagang pinapanood namin yan kasi basketball team. Sikat yun yung the times when the LaSalle basketball team were really superstars. Para silang mga artista. Walang pumapansin sa volleyball nun So sila yon, sila Mayor Francis Zamora.
Well, kailangan yung tulungan yung LaSalle team ngayon. Anyway, Mayor Francis, go. You miss your sport, no? But how did it help you also? In your
first of all, Maxine, how young are you, if you don't mind?
Yan, lagot.
I'm a senior, incoming senior.
Incoming senior, sige. Maxine, during our time, we were the #1 basketball team in the Philippines.
Ayan na yung big sa Ateneo Blue Eagle.
Ayan na.
Go.
We were the number one college basketball team in the Philippines. So, ang dami ko rin coaches na pinagdaanan. And prior to us winning UAAP championships, we also experienced losing to UST for so many years. So, naabutan ko yung 4-year run ng UST. Ang nabutan ko ron yung towards the end nung nakapasok na ako sa men's basketball team noong 1996. We lost to UST again. Prior to that, I was in Team B. I was a part of the team already, but not yet in the UAP lineup. Natalo kami ng 1995 sa UST. 96 sa UST. 97, we finally beat UST in the Final Four but lost to FU in the UAP Finals.
Parang politika rin, ha?
Oh, 1998 to 1999, ayan na. We won back-to-back championships. We beat FU in 1998 and the UST in 1999, and I was team captain then of the back-to-back championship team. So bago ako umabot doon, ang dami naming heartbreaks. No? Talagang naka-experience kami ng talo. Imagine you practice every single day, whole year round, and then eventually matatalo ka, di ba? I would wake up at 3:30 in the morning to be in Lasal by 5:15. 5:15, pre-practice pa lang yan. 6 to 9 a.m. ang practice. 9 to 10, mag-weights ka. After which, papasok ka sa klase, di ba? Then routine na naman every single day. So yung mental and physical discipline, talagang na-mold yan ng experience ko as an athlete. And you will realize that you cannot win all the games. Now, you will win some, you will lose some. But it depends on how dedicated you are, how motivated, how persevering. Ako, I experienced a very painful loss in 2016. I lost, the first time I ran for mayor, I lost by 1,000 votes. But it did not demoralize me. As soon as I lost, the next day, balik ako, nagtrabaho ako, kahit di ako mayor, ginagawa ko yung tungkulin kong tumulong sa tao. And for 3 straight years, even without an official position, those who voted for me in 2016 looked at me as their de facto mayor for 3 years. So nagawa ko yun because ang taas sa motivation level ko. At the same time, I wanted to show people that even without a position, I could serve. And I felt as early as 2016 that the people of San Juan wanted change already. Na short lang kami ng 1,000 votes, but I did it again. So I waited 3 long years for another chance ng 2019, and that time, yan, nanalo na. Ang hirap nga, isipin mo, 3 taon ka maghihintay. Parang Olympics, 4 years ang hintay mo, di ba? Sa basketball, the following season, pwede kang bumawi, di ba? Ito, 3 long years. Kung hindi buo ang dibdib mo, kung hindi ka motivated, hindi mo magagawa yan eh. So it's really that mental and physical discipline that we gained during our years in basketball that molded me. Ngayon, as a mayor, pag kailangan kong gumising ng 6 a.m., kaya ko. If I need to wake up at 5 a.m., kaya ko. Because sanay ako sa ganon. If I have to push my body to work 20 hours a day, I can also. So it's something that we have brought from our playing years up to now na mayor kami. So yun ang malaking factor. Kahit nga nung kampanya, yung kalaban namin, pagod na ako. Sabi ko sa team ko, umaga, hapon, gabi, kampanya tayo for 45 straight days. Tingnan natin kung makasabay yung mga kalaban natin sa kampanya.
Iba rin kasi yung stamina. Pero are you running again for Mayor Francis for a second term, no?
Yes, Noel, I'm running for re-election here in San Juan, and hopefully I'll be given a chance to serve again. Marami na tayong changes na nagawa dito sa ating lungsod, and
Klase kasi yung politika niyo sa San Juan din eh. So, well, yes. Sana parang nagbago, parang ganun, or may nakitang pagbabago dun sa politika sa San Juan.
Correct. Alam nyo, dati kasi walang basis of comparison. No? Kumbaga, for 50 long years, we were under one family only. So, ito from 1969 up to 2019, isang pamilya lang ang nag-control sa city namin. So ngayon, after 5 decades, naka-experience ang San Juan ng new kind of leadership, a lot of innovations, a lot of changes in the system.
And so the pandemic response is really part of it, no? Parang at least people can look up to your performance.
That's true. We will be judged based on the pandemic response, no? Not so much with other factors. Ito talaga, ang tanong, kamusta ang pamamalakad mo bilang mayor ngayong COVID-19? Yan eh.
Tama
yan.
Tama yun kasi parang partner din yan, no? You look for a partner hindi pag masaya or maayos, kundi yon pang pandemya. Lino, ikaw, will you go back to our industry already or paano ba?
Ako, I think I'm running for re-election, but we'll see. Kung may mas magaling
mo pa. Yeah.
Pero so you will see in a few months. But I'd like to run for re-election. Just to add to Maxine's kanina pala, no, it doesn't have to be sports, no, it can be anything. ako, I really encourage, I didn't know you were still in school, Maxine, but I really encourage a lot of kids who are still in school really to pursue your interests. Yung favorite movie ko, no, yung Rushmore ni Wes Anderson, lahat sinalihan niya no? Palpak siya sa lahat. Pero lahat from judo to spelling bees to the book clubs, no? Pero yung passion mo in pursuing all these things and your drive to be excellent in all of these things will really help you in the long run. So it doesn't have to be sports. But if there's anything else you love doing, do it. And when you don't love it anymore, then you stop doing it and find something else. And I think that helps in the long run.
Sabi ni Lester, sana Congress na lang para na-save mo man lang yung ABS-CBN.
Yung nasa Congress ako, nakakapag-shooting pa ako ng Once Upon a Time.
I know. Pero iba rin kasi yung pandemic, no? Parang na-test talaga yung mga tao, yung mga boss on ground. Yun siguro. Well, as a wrap-up, probably, how do you see this pandemic ending? ano yung pinaka-lesson sa atin at paano at kailan? Sabi nyo nga sana hanggang Christmas, sana maayos yung Pasko. Well, probably inspire us, Mayor Francis, now with the hopeful remark and what to look forward to after this whole pandemic.
I truly believe we are towards the end of this battle. Itong vaccination program talaga ang game changer dito. And you can see naman, look at Israel. No? Israel has achieved herd immunity already. Yung buhay nila talagang close to normal na. No? They're living their lives very close to normal. In the US, nakikita nyo rin, ganun na rin ang nangyayari. So, time will come that we will also experience that. We just have to really vaccinate the majority of our population. At the same time, continue to adhere to all minimum health standards. We can see naman that as long as we follow all health protocols, nabababa naman natin yung bilang ng mga cases. Once we vaccinate the majority of our population, you can imagine na paglabas mo ng bahay mo, yung mga taong na-encounter mo sa labas, a majority of them are vaccinated. That means hindi na kayo maghahawahan, di ba? And that will come very soon with the consistent vaccine rollout from all LGUs. Wag lang natin asahan yung sariling city natin. Kasi kung ang city natin magandang rollout, tapos yung iba medyo nahihirapan, hindi rin natin match yung gusto natin. So we are here to help each other. Of course, given the vaccine supply, once marami tayong vaccine sa ating bansa, maganda talaga na yung buong Pilipinas mabakunahan natin.
So ang target mo ulit, to recap lang, Mayor Francis, is when for San Juan?
Well, at the rate we are going, we are looking at end of August to achieve herd immunity. Of course, sana walang maging glitch sa vaccine supply. Ako madalas nga, no, I honestly make the calls myself. I'm a very hands-on mayor kasi. Very hands-on ang leadership style ko, very OC din. No? So ako yung tumatawag sa DOH, IATF. Pag alam ko konti na lang yung doses ko, I make the calls to ensure na tuloy-tuloy kami para hindi nasasayang yung manpower, yung logistics. No? Everything is prepared for. Vaccine supply lang talaga yung, kumbaga, ito yung factor that can change. No? But given a steady supply, tuloy-tuloy lang kami. End of August, we should achieve herd immunity in San Juan.
Pero Mayor Francis, last na lang, yung katulad natin na Sinovac, no, parang 6 months. After 6 months, kasama pa rin ba sa rollout nyo yung second vaccine?
That is not clear at this point. No? Ang pinapag-uusapan pa natin kasi ngayon, yung initial doses pa lang, the first and second dose. Hindi pa namin napapag-usapan really what happens after 6 months. No?
Yeah, kasi November tayo, di ba? Yung mga naunang na-vaccinate. Ikaw, na ba?
Ako, I got vaccinated the middle of April. So
yeah, mas maaga ka pa actually.
April or middle of May. Parang middle of May. So hindi ko naman
that's it. Yung kailangan talaga natin yung ganung protection. Lino, ikaw, how do you think this will end and kailan sa tingin mo?
I think unang-una, we need to recalibrate
that's true.
Yung idea natin of what does it mean for this to end? I think we all have different definitions. Yung sa iba sa atin, ang inisip natin, this will end when we're back to normal. Kaya ang tawag natin ay new normal, di ba? I think we should really chart for the new future. It will be different, no? But that's okay that it's different. I'll show you something, Noela, and to Maxine, Lester, and Engineer James. So this is our amphitheater.
Mhm.
We built it during the pandemic. You're gonna look out to the water and you're gonna watch Florante at Laura. You're gonna watch Shakespeare. This is the new future. So we need to recalibrate things and imagine a different future. Before, I couldn't meet 10 department heads in one day kasi it's too massive a meeting.
That's
Ngayon,
true.
I can sit down in 5 hours
Because
and
of
meet
Zoom.
100 people, no? 10 people per meeting. So I think we just need to calibrate what the new normal is and really to reimagine what kind of future we have. Now, in terms of pandemic and how the pandemic per se will end, I think I agree with Mayor Francis, no? Things will change significantly towards the end of the year. But then there's climate change and then there's other challenges. But I think we're ready for it, and I think this pandemic will make our generation even more ready for it, and we're grooming leaders for the future. Not us, not us. It's you
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
Lester, James, Maxine. Because we have 20-year-olds now who are going through this. Now, people forget na kami, nung nanalo si Pinoy, we were in our 20s and 30s.
Mhm.
Nung si Rizal Bonifacio nag-aklas nung 1998, they were kids nung nangyari yung Gumburza. No? There's always a trigger for leadership.
Mhm.
So ngayon, you have this whole generation who have gone through this and who realize how important government is, how
Right.
important coming together is. So on a last note, please register. You don't wait for a candidate, just
That's
register. You can find a candidate later on.
Inasaya mo si Lester kasi sinama mo siya sa 20 plus, no? So okay 'yon. But anyway, thank you Lino. Thank you very much. Thank you Mayor Francis. 'Yun parang you give us hope na oo, pwedeng maging bata, pwedeng maging dynamic, pwedeng may kausap na mas progresibo pag nandun sa posisyon. And really, the LGUs came to our rescue during this whole pandemic. Kayo talaga yung parang nandun sa ground. At saka palagi after namin kausapin yung mga mayors, ang ganda ng tignan na hindi competition yung orientation, kundi tulungan. Kasi yon parang yung pabibuhan siguro mas beyond us na yung tinitingnan natin kundi yung bayan. So this final note, yun nga parang our tribute to President Pinoy, yung good governance, and yun nga, salamat pagsasabuhay nun, lalo na dun sa inyong mga cities, sa San Juan at saka sa Taguig. Maraming salamat. Sabi ko na sa'yo, Mayor Francis, kulang yung 2 oras. At yan parang it's already all good insights. Kasi alam ko pag nasa TV kayo, hinihintay lang nila yung sound bites ninyo tapos matitake pa kayo out of context. At least ito yung parang may matututunan at pwedeng balik-balikan na oo, mabuti at mabait at masaya naman pala yung government service. Maraming salamat, Lino and Mayor Francis, and we'll see you again. Maraming salamat, Lester na 20 years old, si Engineer James at saka si Maxine for leveling up with us. Next week, we'll see you again, but we'll turn you over now to the mass, Requiem Mass for President Pinoy. Maraming salamat.
Thank you so much, everyone. Mayor Lino, Maxine, Lester, James. Maraming salamat.
Thank you. Bye.
Salamat.
Kapatid namin sa iyong piling.
gabay